Do you guys have to get stress tests for your physicals?
What physical?
Like your annual physical?
No. What annual physical?
So you don't have an annual physical?
I haven't seen a doctor in like, I don't remember the last time I saw a doctor.
So I have an annual physical. Get blood work. Make sure.
I should do that.
You should.
It's been like 15 years.
Yeah,
like,
you should. You should. I got a spot that's right up the road. It's not bad.
They put your finger in your butt.
Does he got big hands?
I haven't had that done yet. Like,
only if you say pretty please.
How big are his hands?
Go ahead, drop second one in there, Mac.
Have you had that? You both had that professionally then, right? Because I haven't.
I have, but not for a prostate check. I had for a hemorrhoid one time. Doctor, go ahead and have his way with me.
Really?
Yeah. Then I found out you don't even need that shit for a hemorrhoid.
I didn't think so.
I'm kidding.
I thought the hemorrhoid's on the outside, bro. You gotta.
No. They like to check anyway.
Joe, I'll just say I had a life before I knew you, and they still didn't find the stash.
I mean, you got a long way up in there. There's a lot of torso to you.
That's colon. Right. That's my
colon.
That motherfucker's got a long ass colon. Damn.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail.
No.
Immediately.
It's okay. So the stress test portion of it.
Did he what is that? They tell you mean things and see how you react?
Yeah. Robert D said they keep putting dirty dishes in the sink without cleaning them. and I have to just sit there and watch it without saying anything. and then somebody else has a dirty tissue and like keeps pulling him out and wiping his nose and then throwing him in the trash and missing and just keep throwing him and I have to sit there.
You're stressing me out.
The American Office is playing on the TV just slow enough to bother you.
Oh no. I'd be happy to enjoy it. Not as happy as I would be with the English version. But I'd be very happy to enjoy it. I watched some American Office recently. It was like on, as it often is.
Sure. You're definitely right about that.
I'm not sure if that's a dig or not.
It's a little big. It's such a long program.
Friends is always on.
Such a long program, Joe, that it can just run and run and run and run. It's like the Jesse Owens of fucking television shows. But like, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, because like they check your eyes, they check your hearing, they draw blood, they poke you with this and that, so to speak, and like. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, like, what a fucking experience this is as I get ready for the stress test in particular. So, you're supposed to fast, right, for blood taking. Mm-hmm. So they take your labs, as it were, and then they put you into this room eventually and you wait. Mm-hmm. And you just see the treadmill looking at you like a supervillain in the corner.
Thing. Okay.
And you see all the wires and shit that they're going to hook you up to, like your 50 Cent at the beginning of In the Club video. except I look nothing like him with my shirt off.
The trick is to do it upside down.
Not a whole lot with my shirt on either, to be fair, I guess. But so then they're like, okay, go ahead and take your clothes off, except for like your pants and your shoes and such. So
take your shirt off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I got a hoodie, a t-shirt, a wife beater. So like it's
from the waist up.
From the waist up. So I take all that off, right? And I'm sitting there, and I'm not the guy that's taking his shirt off at the pool. I don't have that physique. I have I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm gonna have this I might go tank toppy, have a little baggier tank top. I'm gonna be comfortable, and you don't have to look at me, which is fine. But here I am now, topless, in front of this woman who has to shave patches of my chest hair off to put electrodes on me, and then tells me and then like there's a band that goes around your stomach that holds like the nuts and bolts of the wiring of the electrodes, right? For the 12 lead, as it were. And she's like, hold this against your belly. And I'm like, listen, bitch.
Oh my God.
So I do, and then they wrap it around. So now you're wearing like this belt that's squeezing my fat and making me look like the number 8. And
hourglass figure, bro.
Yeah. And then I just wait and then they tell me to get on the treadmill. And then another woman comes in. So now I have like this audience of people, and they just watch you topless with shaved patches on your chest with electrodes hooked up to them, looking like the number 8 or a snowman missing the top part, running on a fucking treadmill for, whatever it is.
How long do you have to run? I've never. And backtracking, I had a physical, I guess, in the last year, but it did not involve anything to do with the treadmill because my job doesn't require that.
So here's the thing. You have to run until you meet 2 criteria.
And staying alive isn't one of those?
No.
Okay.
So one is you have to do it for 12 minutes.
Okay.
And the second one is you have to do it until you reach your target heart rate. Now, there's a chance that you could meet your target heart rate before the 12 minutes, in which case you really just have to do it for 12 minutes. Which I've done for most of my physicals has been the case for me. However, I've been walking 3 miles a day for the past.
Gotten too good.
So now I've got a little bit of endurance with me. So now I'm fucking on this thing for I wasn't too long. I think 15 minutes about. And you know, and then they're all surprised because they just think I'm like fat and lazy. And they're like, oh, we're just trying to reach your target heart rate. Just keep going. They're excited for me. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Turn the channel so I can watch 9/11 footage over and over again. Try to get my fucking heart rate up.
Jesus Christ.
You could have put on Endgame.
Yeah. Put on the end. Let me get pissed off.
How fast you have to go? Did they tell you?
They don't. I could probably look over at the monitor, but I don't like looking at the monitor because I don't like feeling mechanical, you know. So like
whatever that means,
like when I look over and I see my heart rate and I see my blood pressure and I see all this shit that is measuring, and it turns me into too much of a machine in my head and it fucks with me mentally. I prefer to think of my luminous being, not this crude matter, Joe.
Part of the Gardens of Light.
Did you run to the rhythm of In the Club?
No, I ran to Good Morning America. They were talking about nothing of any sort of fucking importance whatsoever.
Sounds about right.
That could have probably gotten your heart rate up just by depending on what was on TV.
You know what, guys,
should really put some neutral on there.
Getting aggravated. Still, like, you know, I got to wait for my labs to come back, obviously, to see how I'm at. But still, I mean, like, my lung capacity is like that fucking test. You ever had to do that one?
You breathe out, yeah.
Oh, dude,
keep breathing.
I'd rather slam my hand in a door. But like I did it first 3 breaths, you know, hit 1, 2, 3 of my scores on it and was done there, which is not usually the case. You know, resting heart rate was 67. My blood pressure was a little high. Like it was like 138 over 84.
Yeah, on Patreon, he actually has video of the whole process.
Yeah, which is a little high for me. But I'm a little bit behind on my physical, and I have a little bit of white coat syndrome anyway.
Most people do.
So I think I was turned up a little bit. But either way, I'll keep my eye on her. And, you know, and I'm still like, you know, not knocked anybody else and whatever. Like everybody lives their own journey, walks their own path.
We all work on ourselves.
Knock on wood, like I'm 41 years old and I don't take a single fucking medication.
Yep.
And I'm happy.
Fucking specimen. Bobby's a fucking specimen.
Yeah, athlete. And I'm happy. I'm grateful. I don't want to say I'm happy. Like I'm grateful. Like, you know, because I know my wife would make my life hell if I got put on like cholesterol medicine or like my cabinets would change overnight.
She's just waiting. You know that, right?
I would eat nothing but like snow peas for like a month. Anyway, but it is like this whole thing, and you feel like a little bit like cattle and mechanical and like you're being studied, which you are, I guess, but I don't like the feeling of it at all. And then they give you a little cracker when you're fuck.
They give you a cracker?
Well, it's really because like you have a couple different options. I go with the crackers because of my limited palate choices, Joe. But like it's most often it's due to.
What other choices?
It's like a Newton type of bar, like a breakfast bar, and then some other type of Odie fucking, you know what I mean? It's got like the sun rising on the package. You can just tell it's health food. Get the fuck out of here.
You know, you're going to be a nightmare in the end times. Look, I really do appreciate you bringing the rice and beans. It's going to feed my entire family, but I can't eat it. It's too spicy.
Well, it's not a spice.
My palate.
It's a texture.
It's
too pasty.
Look, I'm going to go in on the rice. You guys get the beans. Anyway, so that should get us started. With that, Chris, you got your coffee first. Joe, how was your nerd week?
Man,
finished the Bond. Between last week and this week,
holy mackerel.
Watched just the Daniel Craig.
Oh, okay, because that was a broad statement. I was like, pussy. No. That's a long way.
Watch Skyfall and Spectre. Okay. Skyfall I liked a lot. I think was probably my favorite, other than No Time to Die. But we already watched the last one first, so we're stopping at Spectre.
It's a prequel.
No, what? No,
they're all prequels.
The people that say, you know what stresses me out? People that say prequels.
Who says that?
You've heard it.
Who the
Am
fuck
I the
says
only one
that?
that heard
No,
it?
you. That's you.
I don't say it.
That's your fucking people.
I know now. I'll hear it.
Is that is that Star Wars or is that the prequels?
No,
I'm telling you, I hear it.
Peter Quill.
Yes, like Peter Quill, or like I need to write this letter, and I live in the olden days.
I use my
olden days.
prequel.
Or a porcupine quill.
No.
Yep.
Well, we sit with a guy that said sword in theaters or whatever.
If I'm lying, I'm flying. Dude.
But yeah, that's great. The openings fuck. Like I could just put on like what should we call a playlist of just the Bond openings.
Oh wow, I'm sure it's out there.
But this Skyfall is really fucking good. Obviously, Adele and that song.
Oh yeah.
The Spectre, not like I think it's probably the least memorable one, but it's still good.
There's this. It always makes me laugh when I think of her. I don't really. There's a couple songs I like by Adele. She can sing her ass off, right? No doubt. I don't know why all British singers these days sound like soulful Southern black women, but they do. They do, and she can sing her ass off. Don't get me wrong, but there's this guy Bootsy. He's like the Jay-Z of the UK. Like he's like their mainstream but respected rapper of the UK. But he's not like a drill guy or anything. But
mainstream and drill, not
at all.
Well,
not at all. Very few and far between.
There, right?
Yeah. Well, Nicki Minaj just didn't. I don't want to get into it. But like,
drill. You can talk about drill for 3 hours.
Oh my god! I'm like the Teddy Ruxpin.
And I'm
press
sure
play on my belly, just like that lady this morning.
There's got to be at least 400 people that agree with you.
Yeah, well,
they're just not
376
listening to this audience.
So anyway, I have he has this line on this song called "Big for Your Boots," where he's like, he says something to the effect of, "I get the impression it's some highway over there, like that's 95 equivalent." But he's like driving down the 95. I was saying 95 because I don't remember that. Driving down the 95, screaming my heart out, boy. See, you're never too big for Adele. Just imagine it. I just think it's so funny that this like street guy's like singing his heart out to Adele.
Hey, you never know.
I know. I mean, obviously,
shoot your shot, bro.
Live your truth, King.
There you go. Oh, sorry, Adele.
Fucking what else did I do? Watch a couple of Netflix series. This is
Okay.
Because they're limited one season series. I'm okay with trying them just because we had the time. Watch Archive 81, based on a podcast, like creepypasta type of the same name. So like obviously I was in, and the ratings are high. It was good, and I was really enjoying it till towards the last quarter when I stopped giving a fuck about the protagonist. I have this problem of, it's a me thing. Actually, this is one of the things I want to talk about today is that like I make fun, like, you know, shit on you jokingly about Bobby, that like you have limited things and that you like.
Yeah.
But really it's me. I have so many fucking stipulations and media that I consume that like I realize like I limit myself a lot, and like I don't like a lot of things.
Well, I think, look, I like Casino as much as the next man, but when you put that as the pinnacle and you just stop watching gangster movies after it, I think you did yourself a disservice.
I definitely agree with you on that one.
Yeah, it's good.
But I've watched other gangster movies. Like I don't know. I just
the one that I'm always trying to preach that I think doesn't get respected the same way, honestly, because it's like a quote unquote urban film is paid in full. Like to me, it's like I think the fact that it's based on a true story, that it's like it's kind of the story of the original creation of the American hand-to-hand drug trade that I find fucking fascinating, and like the culture that exists around it. Like it never left. Like it transformed, but it never really went away. Like to include little itsy bitsy shit that like people driving their car, like, you know, with the fucking seat so reclined that it's almost sitting in the back seat and shit.
I
like
remember that.
The little like
96
cultural elements of it that like started at this point and are documented because these people that created this phenomenon are all, I mean, you know, unless they were killed, they're all still in the realm of the living. There's actually,
I mean, I would watch that as a documentary.
Yeah, and there's those too. Yeah. But it's just an interesting, like, how, in my opinion, I don't want to get too much of a deep dive on this, but just like it kind of stumbles into it. These guys like just kind of stumble into it. Like they, it was quick spoiler. You've seen it?
Spoil away.
Okay. Basically, this guy, he's like a good kid. He works at a dry cleaners. He went to school. His mom called him lucky because he found lottery tickets one time that were like $10, $20 or whatever. Like, good, decent kid. Doesn't get involved in any bullshit out in the streets. Just a decent kid. He goes to return to deliver dry cleaning to the customers. Like, it's like a delivery service. And this one pair of pants that he dry cleaned had a bundle of Coke in the pocket, and he just took the Coke and brought the pants and said, "Look, this fell out of the pocket. I don't know what it is. Here you go." And the guy, Spanish dude, was like, "Come on in here," and like talked to him for a minute, and like they end up developing this relationship. The Spanish guy liked him because he wasn't all flashy and a street guy and all this stuff. Fronted him a fucking key. The guy broke it down, sold it, flipped it. Before you know it, they're doing middleman shit, hand-to-hand shit, and it creates the American drug trade.
Wow.
Lucky. Yeah, so to speak, I guess.
But yeah, if you're interested in sci-fi mystery, it's got like it's not like Lost, but like it's Lost vibes, where it's some mystery that's fantastical.
Yeah.
It's got cult in it. So
I like a good cult.
Yeah.
Colt 45.
And but yeah, I mean, it's rated high. I'm sure people would like it. Like I said, for me, like when I stop being, I wouldn't say like, even if I stop being attached to a protagonist, I just don't care, because I don't care about what happens to them at that point, right? Like usually you follow a story, you're watching protagonists or a group of protagonists, and you want to see them do well or whatever. You care about the endeavor. If you don't care about them, then you don't care about the endeavor. So that's what it ended up being for me. But like, I can still say at the end of the day that it was a good story.
So what's funny is I can think of one movie in particular that jumps to the forefront of my mind of like characters where I don't really give a shit about the protagonist, but I really enjoy the story.
Okay.
But it's few and far between.
Yeah. I mean, is the world really good or something? Or
the world is good. I think the characters are good. And I think that the fate of the world is kind of at stake. So I'm kind of invested in that. Yeah. It's Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah. You don't care, like the characters?
I don't dislike them, but I don't love any of those characters that are the protagonists.
Like the group. Yeah.
I love Smeagol. Like I love that character. Like, yeah, he sits right up there. Like, but he's the only character, and I love the design. You don't get a whole lot of character out of him, but I love the design of that Mouth of Sauron character that's in the Uncut. It looks like Marilyn Manson. But I connect to Smeagol. I connect to this tragic character. Once again, speaks to my like, finds this thing, tries to keep control, can't keep control, ends up becoming this monster, but still has this sweet side to him and all. Like, his character I love, but like Aragorn and Faragorn and Maragon and Sharagon and all them fucking guys.
I'm pretty sure all those are characters.
Like they can all get gone. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned.
I mean, I didn't dislike any of them.
Like, no, me neither. Me neither. Yeah. I don't hate any of the protagonists.
Yeah, they're okay.
I just don't.
Mostly varying degrees of okay.
I find Gandalf endearing. I think just because grandpas are endearing,
right?
But yeah, that's the only real like off my top of my head.
But you didn't dislike them, or like you didn't not give a fuck. Like if something bad happened to them, oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be like, or maybe, well, whatever.
I might be like, well, whatever.
Well, I think if
like two of the four hobbits, I'm probably like, I don't give a fuck about. So the two that went off with the tree guys, I don't really care. I
wouldn't care. I think Sam,
Frodo and Sam though.
Sam, I think I'd be like, oh, that's
Sam's a real one.
Here's what Bobby need to care about those. He needs one of Sam or Frodo. They need, somebody needs to die. And then you need to like that other character.
The other.
Yeah.
It's probably not too far from the truth.
Because he's dealt with the tragedy.
Yeah. I'm attracted to it.
And like at the bottom of it, that's part of why I don't watch gangster movies or movies where the villain is the protagonist, because like I don't care about villains, so like I can't be attached.
But I understand, and I feel that, but I don't think that life is that. It's not that simple. It's
not, and for most people, like I'm the outlier. I know that. Just like a lot. Cool villains are cool. A lot of villains are fucking cool. Like Magneto, fucking Sephiroth, fucking these characters are designed to be fucking cool for whatever reason, and people love them.
But even Magneto is not black and white villain, right? Like it's like it's like
genocide is not good.
It's not, but it's not. It never is, Joe. But it's that ancient old thing, right? Of do you kill? Do you kill one to save 10? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think he just want to kill all the humans.
Yeah, but only to protect his people because he thinks that humans are a direct threat to his people.
Isn't that Hitler is it? Like the Jews all the...
Yeah, I mean, well, right? So most.
I'm not joking.
I mean, this is
kidding, not kidding, right? That's what they say.
Yeah, that I mean, so like, yeah, I mean, that was one of his arguments that they were destroying the economy of Germany, right?
Right. So like, it's a slippery slope. At some point, you become wrong.
Wait, don't mistake him. Let me make this very clear, not just for you, but for the listeners. As you said, genocide never okay, always bad, because life is never that simple as all one group are bad.
Yeah.
Understanding how someone who came from a past where he was part of a genocide or an attempted genocide, just to grow up and feel like he might be part of the next attempted genocide and wanting to get ahead of that is understandable.
Yes.
Doesn't make it right, but that's what makes him not just a like the mustache twirler, right? Like Thanos and Infinity Gauntlet, the comic, where he just wants to kill for his own selfish motivations.
Yeah.
That's a more pure cut villain. Joker, more pure cut villain.
And people love him though.
Yes.
And I get it.
But the majority of villains, even Vader now, is like, he's not a villain in the mustache twirling sense because he dealt with it. You see now that he dealt with this bureaucracy that allowed a fucking a republic to crumble, a republic in which he wasn't able to thrive in the first place, being a slave and having the loss of his mother attached to that sort of life. That you understand now why he's like, no, one person should be making decisions so it doesn't get lost in fucking Congress or whatever the fuck.
I mean, even before the prequels
or the Senate.
Even if you just watch the original trilogy, by the end of it, like, you don't see villain. I mean, you don't see Vader as like a black and white just villain.
Agreed.
The Emperor is.
Agreed. But that's what I think often is these cases with these gangsters, and not that some of them haven't been complete monsters, because I think that some of them have. Well, you take a character like Charlie Luciano, right? He helped form the commission like in the 40s. And like him, Al Capone of Chicago fame, Benny Siegel,
Uncle Paulie, P. Diddy, Caesar Lizzo, Daisy Gennaro, Charlie, Iceberg Slim, Lamore.
Well done, Chris. I'm always impressed sometimes.
What a sentence.
Paul Castellano, or Costello, like a lot of these, like old, like, gangsters, right?
Yeah.
They ended up locking him up for a number of different reasons. I can't remember exactly what, but they were going to keep him in jail for fucking ever. Mm-hmm. But because of his connections in Italy, he was able to open up the ports for American Navy to dock to invade Italy during World War II. So, and then they said that if he helped, that they would free him. And they did, and then deported him, which was kind of like, that's not exactly what we, but it's okay, whatever. Once again, not all bad, not all good, but not all bad. Like, and these, like, I think a lot of times, especially, Italian immigrants at that time and people that struggle in poverty now, like, you get why they go to extremes, to take care of their nuclear family, immediately. And I think that while the scales of good and bad and all that, like, I'm glad that I'm not a deity that has to judge that at the end of the day, but that it's a lot, it makes life more complicated than just hero and villain for me. Mm-hmm. Even like hero shit, like Superman, they kind of touch on it a bit in the Snyderverse of like, yeah, like he saved the world, but he also destroyed the city, and in the process left this little girl orphaned that Bruce Wayne was able to save at the beginning of the attack.
Right.
Like, like hero.
Yes.
But not all good. Not perfect. There's this collateral damage associated with him.
And I think things like The Boys have really shown I use the term loosely, but the dark side of.
Yeah. And if Superman's parents don't send him to Earth in an attempt to save not only him, but their species, the threat on the city never happens, right? So it's like, even though Superman saved the Earth from the villains wouldn't have been there in the first place if he never came.
I mean, there was always the argument with Batman. It's like they're only coming to the Gotham because Batman's there.
Yes, but that is a more philosophical one, where this one's almost like no, Your Honor, I'd like to bring in Exhibit A. It's this little spaceship. But yeah.
So because the other thing I watched, which I enjoyed immensely, and I actually had to think about religion a lot because it has very heavy religious overtones, is Midnight Mass on Netflix. So it's really fucking good.
I was recommended this by someone else, and I like vampires, Chris, as you well know.
Yes,
but this is a good kind of vampire.
And I watched the trailer.
Didn't do it for you,
and I was like, I'm not watching this shit.
What was the trailer? I didn't watch the trailer. What was the trailer?
I can forward you the link. It's just a bunch of fucking nothing. Yes, it's Netflix at its best. It's in regard to trailer.
Great. I mean, it's because it's not just about the vampire story. It's a lot of very human story.
Give me a premise.
Okay. Opening of the show is this guy. You see the guy in an accident, and paramedic is like fixing him up. He got some scratches, and he looks across, and there's a girl on the street being worked on CPR, and then she died. And he started praying, and the paramedic goes like, "While you're at it, why don't you ask God why the drunk driver always mix it up with just there's some scratches and the innocent people are dead?" Because, and then you find he was a drunk driver.
Right.
4 years later, he goes back home because of Pearl, which is an island 30 miles off of the mainland.
Oh, here we go.
With 120 or so people. Just fishing village, basically. And they're all mostly very religious. There's a church there. There is one sheriff who is Muslim. That's he has his own whole side story, which is good. And they have an old pastor that's always been there for a long time. But he was pretty old and he had to be replaced. And then fucky things started happening. But in the story, the interpersonal relationships, like I care about a lot of these characters, and their conversations are very interesting. There's a lot of philosophical discussions, a lot of religious discussion, like stuff that makes my skin crawl. Because, and when you're talking about deities who have to judge, like this show made me think about it. I'm like, I would hope that if there's a deity out there that judges us, that like at the end of the day, that intention should be all that matters.
Yeah, I'm with you. I that's where I bump heads, and forgive for those listeners that subscribe to this. You know, honestly, this is where I bump heads with most born again Christians, like the Protestant dynamics of and especially the more evangelical types, is that like it gets to a point where it's like, you have to say the words, like you have to say these magic words, kind of. And I don't mean to belittle their faith in that regard, but you know, I accept Jesus into my personal Lord and Savior, into my heart, and all those sorts of things. And you have to mean it. You can't just say it. You got to mean it and all that. But like my grandmother was Catholic. Yeah. They don't play that shit. No, that's not how Catholics roll. That's not the ball game. We in my former life, you know, I was brought up into a faith where you believe that Jesus is the Messiah, Son of God, and also God in the flesh, and he's part of this Trinity, and all the bits, but like the whole born again sequence is not necessarily part of that faith, right? So like my grandmother is the most perfect person I've ever met in my life, that just like never had really a negative thing to say about anybody, with few exceptions. And most of the times they were very extreme, and most times you had to push her to a limit in order for her to break down and say it. She never said those words, right? Because that wasn't part of her faith. But she was a faithful person. She believed in God and all those sorts of things. But in a Catholic way, where we just don't fucking put it on a sign and do it all around it. We did that back in the dark ages.
You have the cross on your forehead once in a while.
We did the dark ages. Like we got over it. You know?
Torturing and the stuff.
Yeah, we did. You know, the witches and all the... No, that actually wasn't us. But the, you know, we've been through it. And like, it gets to a point where they got to tell me like, well, then she doesn't get in. And then it's like, well, then I can't. I can't subscribe to this, because like I can't subscribe to a God that would throw away a good person because they didn't say a certain phrase. And I know
that means that's part of one of the many reasons I got out of it, is because same reason, grandma.
Right.
I love my grandma. Perfect. Not Christian at all, though. So like, she's going to hell. Get fucked, bro.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's the problem with it. But the show is very good. I hardly, like I often recommend things on here, like to people, or I describe what I watch, but like I hardly recommend to you guys, like in chat, like
Right.
I do, like I really enjoyed it.
I'll give it a shot, I will watch it.
It's only 7 episodes.
On one condition.
Yeah.
If when we're done here, you watch the trailer and tell me if the trailer is indicative of the show.
Okay, I will do that.
As long as it is not, I will watch it.
Yeah, because I don't watch trailers. I watch Google. I look up a thing, and both it's in the 80s and Rotten Tomato and on Google User. Like,
right.
When that's the case,
but I don't put advice. We don't see the world this way. As soon as I see a bunch of people like it, I'm like,
Well, it's the thing. Like I think you would buck against Google user rating, and you would like the tomato rating. Where I'm opposite.
Well, I like the critic.
Right. And when I'm opposite, but when they're both high is when like. I haven't been steered wrong when they're both high.
Yeah.
And this guy has made other shows that I'm now going to go watch because...
Like I said, let me know about the trailer and I'll move forward.
Yeah, I'll watch it with... I would think you would like it. Mm-hmm. Because it's
somebody else saw the same thing.
Yeah.
I recommended this like a month ago.
Yeah, because it's like such like personal stories.
But I watched that trailer and I was like, this looks awful. Like not just bad, like it looks bad.
That's crazy. I'm really curious to see the trailer now because I don't like live action series that much.
Right.
So, but that was all I watched because that's all between 2 series. That's all I had time to watch in the 2 movies.
Wow, that's a lot of consumption.
Chris,
that's me.
What do you got?
Well, I built a bunch of dioramas this week.
Did you really?
Almost done.
Good thing I'm sitting down.
There's 25 batches, and I will be assembling 21 this evening. So I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Mm-hmm. Like I got all the laser works done for all of it. I'm paying one of my children to do something that I just physically can't do anymore with my hands. It's acrylic. You have to pick off all the paper off the honeycomb.
It's like Snowpiercer when you have the kid that have to reach in.
It is. So got some new stuff that I've been working on too. So to get that stuff done so we can send it out and prototypes and whatnot. Watch the Lakers show that I can't. Winning Time, I think, is the name of it. It's a horrible name.
Safe Defense.
No. Still good.
Still great. Yeah. So this is
John C. Reilly, right?
John C. Reilly's.
He plays Shaquille O'Neal, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the surprise casting of the year. So Shaquille O'Neal may not even be born when this starts.
Right.
We're like in 1980, but this past the coach had a horrible bicycle accident. Like his brakes went out on the back of his bike, and he hit the brakes, and he flipped off, and like it's a pretty gruesome scene. It's the end of the episode. It's literally just his limp body sliding across the asphalt for like 10 feet. He's in the hospital. The assistant coach is trying his best, and this is actually where Pat Riley, whose name you may recognize, he was the coach for the Showtime Lakers and actually for Shaq in Miami years ago.
See?
He was a former player, and then he was trying to be a commentator, and he ends up being an assistant coach, and we're going to be off to the races with him from there. So it's really fucking great.
Side note, don't ask me how I know it because I won't tell you.
Okay.
Do you know why most bicycle accidents occur?
I'm dreading this answer, Bobby.
They're too tired.
Yeah. Yep. There it is. There it is.
It's also funny because it's true.
It is.
So many layers.
Yeah.
I watched a documentary on Netflix called Return to Space. It was about the SpaceX NASA launches, the first ones, with the manned flights to the space station. I remember when this was happening. It was 2020, crazy pandemic times, and we sent people to the space station during that time, which it was basically kind of a backstory.
Bloody Bill Gates, what I hear, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It was a little backstory basically on how SpaceX, I almost said StockX, that's different.
Yeah.
how SpaceX came along and I didn't realize the first 4 rockets they launched just blew up. It's like, oh, there goes $1 billion. Let's build another.
That happens.
But yeah, it's the difference is that now that the private sector is so invested in space because NASA wasn't going to spend.
That's why the advances have been so incredible.
Yeah. Because people are willing to take chances, and that's what it is.
And have the money to.
Exactly. Like
willing to spend the money.
$50 billion, I think, is what he invested up front. Like
NASA's government, right? I don't think they get that much money.
No, probably not. I watched the Snyder Cut over a couple days while I was working.
Right,
Black and white.
No, I went with full color. Although I tell you that format.
It is unfortunate.
And why did he do that?
I think for IMAX, because the majority of the large screen IMAXs are actually in that ratio. Like I'm talking about the ones at the Science Center.
I guess, but I mean, okay, back home in Alabama.
Where are you from? It's been a while, dude.
It's been a while. The only IMAX we had, I don't know if there's one there now, was at the Space and Rocket Center. It was
we had one at Smithsonian. I watched a movie there once.
Yeah.
Well, I
do like letting it ride.
I will say, so
to get down.
I'll keep it in the Batman pocket for a moment. The Dark Knight. There are scenes in that are filmed specifically for
in IMAX,
and you can see because the black bars move.
Correct.
So,
but they're in a different ratio.
I don't know. I'm like, who the fuck's going to? Are enough motherfuckers going to the Science Center to see it in IMAX for them to chop a fourth of the screen off? Though that's I don't know. I don't get it. It's distracting, especially at first, because and honestly, I didn't think about this, but I think we probably have zoom buttons on our TVs. If I could maybe find the remote to the TV, I doubt I could, and it would feel it better. But
it really, I'll be honest, I love that film, but I do. It does take me a minute to get adjusted to it.
I'm surprised, people of our generation, because I don't like it, but I get used to it real fast because we grew up watching that shit when we watch VHS. A lot of them had the black bars.
But I never bought those.
The widescreens.
Yeah, well, I always bought the full screen.
I didn't like the widescreen. Not knowing any better. Yeah, me either. I don't want that.
Not knowing it's going to distort my vision of it as a kid. I was just I want it to be the whole thing.
Yeah, and I remember when
I don't remember having a choice.
Well, I remember when DVD became viable. There was sometimes you'd have the double disc, and you never
never be a widescreen on one,
never
full
put
screen
it in the
on
right way first time.
Yeah.
And you had to wait for the fucking movie to start to make sure.
It's true.
But it's just that we had the opportunity to watch so much growing up that it's not a foreign idea. Imagine a teenagers now have never seen that black bar in their entire lives. It's a completely new concept to them.
I mean, I remember when DVD, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was not available on widescreen DVD for years. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all waiting on to release this? It's just because widescreen TVs had become a thing, and
as soon as widescreen TVs became a thing, then it was no problem.
Yeah. And I remember our first widescreen TV was I think it was a Mitsubishi. It was a console. It was the big heavy motherfucker.
I'm gonna buy an old box TV and play Snyder Cut on it. Fill that bad boy
we just
up.
threw one out. Yeah. Not just, but we threw one out.
Like the cabinet TV that you put
rock it old school.
Hey,
And I still don't know what the standard format is because I have some older widescreen TVs that aren't quite wide enough or some shit.
Yeah, because there's
they're not all the
16:9 and then there's
16:9
and then there's another one, and I think that the
What is the run you should have though? What is the standard nowadays?
So I don't know what to say.
That's a problem.
But the one with the thicker black bar, so to speak, is the kind of, it's the one that is looked at as optimal. It's the shit you can get most on film with, So it's looked at as the Hollywood production proper way, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it works out for home viewing the best, and all that kind of stuff.
They said 16:9 is the most popular, but there's actually 21:9 also, which I think is probably the full theatrical.
And also, to be fair, it's probably just mentally
ridiculous.
Oh, it's definitely mentally ridiculous.
It's just mental hang up because on your TV for example, when you watch it with the black bars, it's still a probably bigger screen than shit that we've used to watch in the past.
Right.
Overall, the picture.
Right.
So it's just a mental hang up.
It is. Yeah. Oh no, I drug this 42-inch TV that costs $100, and the fact that stuff's disposable now. I hate it for the TV repairman.
And built the same way.
Yeah. I hate it for the TV repairman now because I don't know what he's doing all day.
Yeah,
because when you can buy a new one,
I don't think they have the money anymore.
I mean, I don't know.
He's getting a PPP loan.
If you buy anything electronic or with any sort of battery or motor at Walmart, they always ask you if you'd like to buy the extended warranty for X amount of money. And at a certain point, it's like the TV's $300. How much is it's
buying a TV, bro?
It's going to last a certain amount of time.
I have more TVs.
But yeah, we're all
in the house and I can use. Like,
I know.
They're just sitting on the floor, not being hooked up.
Me too.
With the big ones on top of it.
Yes. Yes. One of them is like that.
Turn them all long ways.
Like I've mounted like a couple TVs on the wall just to like
make it look like a bat cave.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about, dude. Yeah.
What day did we?
I don't want to throw them away.
Week? Did we record on Tuesday last week?
Yes.
So I watched Moon Knight, but I'm going to be honest with you. I have very little recollection of the episode. And I know there's another one today. I haven't.
So I watched it as well. I haven't watched the new one either. I wasn't.
Walk, bro. Yeah, I thought you go on your little walk and watch a little TV.
Yeah, but I didn't. I haven't had the opportunity. Because it came out today and I had my physical in the morning. But like there was he's in the suit. He jumps back and forth in the suit. They're at like some party. It's like a festival. They're trying to get something out of the sarcophagus.
Yeah.
It's not great. Like that first episode was really like capturing, but I haven't been enthralled with the second or the third. I'm still in because Oscar Isaac can fucking give a performance.
He can. Oh, I remember now. There's apparently a third personality that's killing the hitter, because they're like, why'd you kill it? I didn't do this.
And you get to see all the gods, and the one god got in trouble. The Moon Knight god got in trouble.
That's right. He got punished, and all the avatars were there, but not the avatars. Copyright Avatar.
Yeah, not blue people.
Yeah. I watched
The Ever Living.
I watched The Batman on HBO.
I'm watching that next Tuesday on movie night.
Yeah.
I
it's funny. Can I share?
It just came out Monday, right?
It came out Monday. Yeah.
So I got
I will say, by the way, you're looking at that just real quick. I like the time between the theatrical release and the streaming release. I don't know what the plan is for that going forward globally, because even if you just ignore the fact that, all movies were on streaming for 2 years, but if you think about, technology wise, I think maybe part of the reason it always took so long is they had to actually make all that media. Well, other than Bobby's copy, most of it's just going to be streaming at this point.
Yeah.
So all that is just pressing a button, right?
So I got this text yesterday at 9:06 p.m.
Okay.
The Batman, because it's on streaming now. So
yes.
The Batman is a C on a good day. Some shit I can't get past. It drives me nuts. Side note, Catwoman is the worst part about it besides Batman's emo-ass haircut.
Hey, now, Bobby, do you know why he keeps the hair down in his face?
Tell me.
Because there's something in the way.
Now,
that's one person's opinion. Right?
9:06 p.m.
Okay.
10:21 p.m. Just finished watching The Batman. Loved it.
Same person?
No, different person.
Okay.
It's just
the same person.
That is my experience with this movie.
I haven't had that many. Anybody I've talked to seems to have enjoyed it. I haven't had many people just.
I'm getting very I've only had one person shit on it. Nobody I talked to has said it's fine. They either think it's the best thing since sliced bread or it's average. But yeah, I'm happy. My response to the guy, just to put it in perspective, my response to the guy, I loved it. I said, love to hear it! ! And he said, it was dark as fuck. That's his follow up. And I said, it sure was.
That's not wrong.
Because I don't want people not to like it. I like people liking it. I just wish I liked it more.
Star Wars. That was the third time I've seen it, and Colin Farrell's role. Oh my God, he does such an incredible job with that character.
He is good. He
does a great job. And what's his name? The guy who plays Falcone. Dude, he's such a good actor too.
That one doesn't work as well for me, but yeah.
I don't know. Place and time, I think it works really well.
What's funny is he kind of looks like an older version of Falcone's son. I forget the one. You guys know who I'm talking about, listeners out there. He looks like one of the Falcones. He just doesn't look anything at all like Falcone.
Yeah.
It doesn't even embody
like the sexy sister.
And I think perhaps because there's not so sexy at all.
Not so sexy. The Chicago sexy sister.
But I think because I carry so much of that, maybe baggage wise with me, he just doesn't fit that mold at all.
I'm not carrying any Batman baggage. No,
You can't. There's too many of them.
Yeah.
I know.
Batgage.
They won't all fit in my Batcopter, Joseph. All right, that's it.
I think that's the only thing baggage wise from Batman that I carry with it. It's just like it's just jarring to me.
Yeah.
It's John C. Reilly playing Shaquille O'Neal.
Bro, he can do it.
Didn't
No doubt.
fucking Jimmy Kimmel do LeBron James or somebody like that?
I don't know.
Like, did him?
I mean, like, no, like, played a part, blackface and all.
I don't think so.
Hey, nerd week for me.
Yes.
I think I might have text Asperger's.
I mean,
I've been thinking about this.
Not even sure if I should be surprised.
I find myself getting into circumstances time and time again where I give a motherfucker the hammer, but only for them to respond back like, "Oh man, you got me wrong. Like, my bad. Like, I didn't mean it that way," and this and that. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. I can't detect tone unless you put an emoji next to it that describes how I should read that. I read it as if you're coming from my head every time, and I respond.
You do,
and I respond as if.
Man, Bobby is the Facebook Messenger version of the Office reply of "per my last email." Don't hit me with no "per your last email."
But I have like text burgers. Then I went to a celebration of life.
is that like after?
For my buddy Kat that passed away.
Okay.
Yeah, I always get confused with that event. It's just like after.
Yeah, so he like passed, and they had the funeral and all, and now it's been 4 months later, and they had the celebration of life. And I went and took my family and all, which was nice because they didn't get to come to the funeral, and hung out with his kids a fair bit, and he's got like a lot of them. And they're all grown, for the most part, like late teens, early 20s. So like talking to them, I was like, it was just like there's certain things like, so it was me, my buddy Jason, this dude Brian, and then who's also a friend of mine, and then the kids, right, standing in a circle, and they're actually throwing a football back and forth like in the parking lot, and Jason said, who all friends with his dad, but their dad, he's like, your dad, and one of the kids was like, man, we used to just stop it right there. He's like, you know what this motherfucker said to me on the way home from dropping the body off? And I was like, what? He was like, look, if you ever need anything, I'll be there for you. As your dad was a close friend of mine, and I was like, bitch, and like, it's just, wow. And then my buddy Jason was like, no, let me finish. He just wanted me to let you know that you and your brothers and sisters are 100% responsible for his marriage not working out. And
Jesus. Y'all are brutal.
And but it was good, like, just to stand out there and share stories. And like, Chris, I'm gonna use you as an example, if you don't mind. The shit that he used to do. And for the Patreon folks, forgive me because we go through this on Wine and Cheese too this week. But if you wouldn't mind standing over there by that plug for just a second, and I'm
okay,
and I'm gonna have this is something that he used to do all the time, especially to new people. And dude, this shit used to be so fucking funny to me. And what's sad about it is like I forgot, and it was just like from reminiscing and talking about it, that I was like, damn, and how quickly do we forget these little things that you remembered so vividly about a person while they were around. And so like he would see a guy that he didn't know, like standing, but was like in the area, and he would be like, hey man, you got some shit on your heel. Hey sailor. And he'd always do it. So like when you do it, like a dude always like looks over his shoulder, like, and some dudes get super like into it, like over their shoulder, looking at the back of their heel.
Oh, wow,
and as soon as you strike that pose, you say, "Hey, sailor."
That's great.
But yeah, like, and it was just like, it was heartwarming. Like, I was like, man, like, but I also started to panic, you know, about like just how many things about people in my life that I've lost, that I've forgotten, these little nuances of theirs and these little like signature things of theirs. And then when that's gone, you know, are they really gone, and all that type of shit. And it was kind of fucking with me in spite of it being an overall good experience. Okay. So
speaking of death and the meaning there's a couple of really good monologues in Midnight Mass about death.
Yeah. It's something else, death, and my ability to handle it.
How different people see it and handle it differently, and your belief system of what happens.
Yeah. So I had a bit of a neighbor issue. It wasn't.
Oh, we have a neighbor issue then.
Wasn't too. Yes.
If you have a neighbor issue, we have a neighbor issue.
To be fair, it wasn't too much of one, but let me paint the picture.
Which guy?
I live in the woods, just to make sure everybody knows.
So they live directly next to me, but the back of their house faces the side of my house.
Okay.
Right here at the corner.
I know.
I can see.
Walk out your garage, turn right.
Right, and they're to the right.
To the right. Not those guys, because they're like,
dependable.
They're dependable. They're how I know which day to take the trash out when recycling, because they know about the holidays.
Yep. So,
but the ones next to them.
Correct. Who I've never had a problem with, and to be
them.
fair, still haven't. But they had
Is that the one with a thick lady?
So I wouldn't describe her as thick. I wouldn't describe her as thick, but she's attractive. They just had a kid recently. Yeah. Younger people, and they had a work truck parked out back.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I don't like it's technically against the rules.
Wait, hang on. They had someone doing work at their house?
No, I think it's their truck.
Okay. It was in my way when I was trying to get back home too.
And it's parked out back.
It's big.
It's big. It's like a F-350 type, like, and I don't care. Like, it's against the rules of the HOA, like, because there's no. I know. Wait, what did they do in Departed? But look at you. You're a little rat. But I don't care. I was never the type that would ever say anything about it. Like, as long as it doesn't impact my quality of life, right? Well, because these people around here that buy $80,000 vehicles but don't know how to actually drive them, because it's not a prerequisite to actually buy them, Christopher.
Yep.
They don't know how to navigate a alley. Right. So they're driving through my yard to avoid hitting this truck. Right.
Yep.
So I went up to, I took a walk. I told Laura, I was like, look, I'm saying something.
Yep.
And then Jana was like, what did they say? No. And I was like, well, then we go from there. I don't know how I'm going to feel, but I was like, I'm going to be respectful. I'm going to be, I can't imagine somebody would be so irrational not to understand my point of view.
Jana, I'm going to square my hips. I'm going to drop one shoulder.
Yeah. So, I walk up and I ring the doorbell, and it's the dude who lives there's mother who answers. Now, she's the one who originally bought the house. Doesn't matter, but I know her.
Oh, okay.
So I rang the doorbell.
Miss Patricia, how you doing?
I rang the doorbell. I had to ring it 3 times. She finally comes to the door, and I don't think about myself existentially very much.
Right.
So like I'm all black, hoodie, pants, hoodie on, and there was a business card that someone stuck in their door for like a maid service. So me trying to be the good citizen, I took the card out and I hit the doorbell. When she finally answers, I'm like, you had this stuck in, good morning. You had this stuck in your door, but she doesn't want to open the door to get the card.
Right.
And I was like,
does she not know who you are?
I don't know. So I assume not. So I drop my hood. And I say, I live behind you guys. And she's like, oh, opens the door, takes the card. She still thinks I'm there for the card. I explained to her the situation, and they moved it.
Nice. Well,
No
That's
problem.
the way it should be.
Yeah. It
Communication.
was without effort. And I was like, look, I don't care. Same thing I just said. I don't care, but people don't know how to drive, and they're driving through my yard. Dude, I totally get it. It was just a nice exchange. There, no, we didn't fight on Facebook about it, Joe. No one tried to cancel anyone.
HOA or nothing. Call nobody.
No one brought up the heritage of my family. It was just a nice, decent exchange and an understanding of two people's dispositions, and compromises were conceded in order to make things move smoothly. I was like, look at us. Oh shit.
Well, I have a question about your fancy ass HOA. I've I'm a simple man, Bobby. I don't pay people to tell me how to cut my grass.
No, just YouTube on how to keep your ads.
Yeah, exactly. So explain to me the HOA and how that works, and is there someone in charge of this? And
there's a committee, there's like a board. You can get on it. You can get on it,
like a commission.
Yeah, like Charlie Luciano,
Charlie Baltimore, Iceberg Slim.
But anyway, like it's generally our HOA is pretty chill. Like I've got this like vent on the side of my house that's been busted for like over a year and a half now. Nobody said shit about it. You know, like I've got like. But it's just like when shit gets egregious, I feel like they usually step in.
And also they do their job. Like the back park area was really nice.
Well
kept. Rocks there and there's a bench
they snow remove.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, like
I never have to worry about getting out of my house.
Yeah, they do a good job.
Yeah, so that's the best HOA. It's not that expensive. It's the cheapest HOA I've ever had. They leave you alone and do the public service work.
Well, that's good.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
It's good to hear they do that work for you guys, because it seems like you hear horror stories where what am I paying for? They don't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, like my 2 houses ago, I was paying $280 a month on just on HOA, which is nothing. It doesn't go anywhere, and I don't get anything out of it except they tow my cars all the time. Like anyone that visits, I guess the HOA has the fucking tow truck people, which is a fucking racket, by the way. Like they're in business, so like as soon as it turns midnight, the fucking tow truck just fucking going around the neighborhood trolling, taking cars out.
In your old neighborhood?
Yeah, two houses ago.
Right.
And I pay $280 a month so that they can fucking tow my friends' cars.
Wow. So I had another issue. I started noticing. Actually, to be fair, Laura started noticing small bubbles in our hardwood floors, and it looked as if. For those that, not that I'm an expert on this shit, but I do know that, like, oftentimes, and I didn't watch how the floors were put in, like a hawk or anything, but I know that it's like a tongue and groove system, and I know that sometimes you got to nail one piece in and all this shit. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, maybe it's a nail pop or something. And Laura, of course, puts Jaina on the cross immediately, and it's like, I'll tell you what it is. It's Jaina not giving a shit when she's taking the stuff out of the dishwasher. She's flinging hot fucking water all over the floors, and there's like little drops of water creating these bubbles. And I was like, maybe. And I just kept it in the back of my head. Now, she also dropped a mixer on the floor around Christmas and put a fucking hole in the fucking hardwood floor. So in my head, I'm like, perhaps it's something about dispersed impact over time. And,
I see like formulas. This formulas flying around your head.
Honey, what's the Pythagorean theorem again?
With that lady gif?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so then, like, I Googled it one day.
Yeah.
And it's like, probably water. And I was like, it's right by the dishwasher, isn't it?
Isn't it though?
And I was like, Laura, I was like, I bet you it's water. And she was like, no, because I got down there the other day, and she like got her phone out and dropped down, so to speak, and like looked, and she's like, I got down here the other day, and oh no, it's wet. It's wet. Damn. So we already had a fully stocked dishwasher.
Yeah.
So I was like, look. One more run ain't going to kill us at this point.
Right.
Let's just go ahead and run it, And so we ran it, and then we emptied it, and then we had to get the dishwasher out. So this is luckily I was like, so 2 weeks ago I was with Jason and Brian, the same guys who I was with at the Celebration of Life, but I was with them in another capacity 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And I remember Jason doing home improvement stuff on his house, and Brian was like, well, if you need somebody to do the floors, I can do that.
Okay.
And I just like. It's like it popped right back up in my head, like a little pop-up ad. And I was like, okay, keep it in mind. So then we went to Celebration Life, and I was like, hey, could you? I was like, I think I remember you saying something. He's like, I didn't say it. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I remember. He was like, all right, yeah, I could help you. And I was like, dude, look at God. But
nothing but blessings, Ron.
So then
Easter.
We took the dishwasher out. But that was a fucking nightmare.
It's not on wheels? You just roll that bitch out?
No, it's definitely not on wheels, Joe.
Why is mine's on wheels?
Is it really?
Yeah, I just roll it out.
Oh, no. Mine's not on wheels. It's on little feet, little like screw down feet.
Oh, yeah.
No. But the screw down feet are like well stuck in spots. So I had to get a hacksaw and get my hand underneath there, which is why my fingers are all band-aided up. I look like fucking Michael Jackson from the Bad Tour. And
I thought just diorama work.
and I'm trying to, and I saw off one of the legs.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
What the fuck?
And then get the fucking dishwasher out, disconnect it, all the pieces to it, and then I saw where the leak was. I was like, fuck, okay, there it is. Drain everything, turn the water off to the side, turn the power off to the side, peel the floors out, which is a fucking process also, I'll have you know. But
yeah, I imagine.
then we had to find the replacement flooring. Turns out we go to a couple spots, they don't know what it is, they can't figure it out. We go to this one place, they're like, oh yeah, they don't make this anymore. So I was like,
Jesus.
oh no. Like now we were thinking about having an adjuster come out and do an insurance like thing.
Yeah.
So then we finally get on the phone with one last person. They're like, hey, do me a favor, see if there's a number in this certain part of the box. So we have one of the boxes still. We're like, there is. And they're like, we got you.
Wow.
So like, yeah, so I pick it up. So we're going to.
But now you know, though, that's it. There's no more stock.
And you can, are you replacing the board that got damaged with the mixer while you're at it? Because it's all that right there together.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Hey,
and what's funny is
everything happens for a reason.
the one that got damaged with the mixer, we almost spent $300 last month getting that one board fixed.
Oh, God.
All right. One last thing to talk about before I talk about the media that I watched, which isn't much. I played with the Oculus.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, nice. What do you play?
So he doesn't have many games, but it was like some like target practice game. Like it was like almost like the things pop up and you shoot them down type. Played a game called The Plank, where like you go up to this.
I can't play that game.
You go up to this building.
Yes.
Yeah, I played that.
I don't like that.
I feel like you would like Beat Saber.
I played Beat Saber.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. There's like the blocks are coming at you.
Yep.
And you have to lightsaber them?
Yeah, you have to swipe them up or left.
Or diagonal and all kinds of ways.
And it gets much more complicated after. My kids are
so
ridiculous.
I played that.
But also, I know Bobby's picky about music, so I don't.
Yeah, but I was good with it. So yeah, I played it. I enjoyed it. They have to do something about the sweat.
You have to do something about your sweat.
They have upgrade like pieces you can put in there that are
because like
absorbent.
when it drips down and gets inside.
Boy, I never played it. Were you playing it outside? Wow, how are you? So
I was
hot?
playing it outside.
What the fuck?
Bobby's an athlete, bro.
I didn't know. Well, oh man, I guess that makes sense.
And anyway, I enjoyed it. I want to play a real game on it.
Yeah,
You know, like
Resident Evil or like,
or like
well,
a
I got
game
the
like
Star
that.
Wars games.
Yeah, like I
those
want
are
to play
fun.
like a proper game on it.
The motion bothers, like moving around, and they have what's called teleport, where you're like, I want to hop to there, and you just kind of hop to the next spot. But actually, like walking around, it's hard on my brain.
Here's my review of it. Just playing it for an hour. Mm-hmm. It's not where It's not where I want it to be.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
It's really good though.
It's getting there.
But it's gonna be.
For sure. You can see.
I think they've got. I think they've got the interaction is I think probably about where it needs to be, but the graphics and everything, and it's a lot of it is the processing, because you think you're processing for a screen when you're playing, but now you're like literally,
and it's still a little clunky.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot, yeah.
Like even like that shooting game, like dropping my magazine, loading in another magazine, and then loading the chamber was like when I would try to grab my magazine, like it wouldn't always catch, and like it's clunky. And then like I'm trying to load it in, but the handles are just hitting each other, and they're not close enough to allow the magazine to go. Like little clunky shit. It's still rudimentary, but like when they get that shit ironed out, that shit is going to be a beast.
I think it's going to be in our lifetime.
Yeah.
I think Unreal Engine 5 is going to...
Yes.
That's going to be such a game changer across the board.
When are you going to get the harness so that the motion won't bother you?
Dude, I honestly...
Like,
I couldn't tell you last time I played it.
Okay. I mean, like, it's the small cage with the like curved like bowl on the bottom, so like you can actually move your little feet.
When they figure out how I can store that up as electric current and charge a battery, that's when I'll do it.
I'm just going to bring this up because we've kind of covered the events of this gentleman on Nerd Rage as it has turned out. But Tekashi 6ix9ine has made a return this past couple weeks in media. Have any of you seen any of this at all?
I don't believe I have.
Well, he did a 3-hour podcast on DJ Academic's platform on Spotify.
Okay.
I strongly recommend that everyone do everything they can never to listen to it.
Don't plan on it.
It's pretty much 4 grown men yelling "hold on" over each other for 4 hours. and it's only a 3-hour podcast, so you figure that out.
Okay.
And there is this funny part, though, that I'm going to play, and I'm going to play it off air because I'm not comfortable playing the content of it on air.
Fair enough.
But hold on one second. But he's back
Wow.
and being silly. But he's got this new crew of guys, and the guys on there are like, basically like, we don't deal with rats at all. This is the first one that we're kind of dealing with. Like, it's just a funny thing. If you need it, hit me up. I'll send it to you. The other thing that was funny that crossed my desk. Look, this is not a political thing. I just had a conversation recently that I'm not sure if I've ever lived during a great presidency in my lifetime. That being said, I made fun of George W. Bush when he couldn't speak for shit, and I'm going to make fun of Joe Biden when he can't speak for shit. This shit is funny as fuck to me. He's going to describe America in one word. Okay, are you ready for this one?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, here we go.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put
I mean, that's probably the most accurate statement ever because you can't explain America.
That is America.
I'm gonna get
We
that.
all knew he was old as fuck.
I'm gonna get that part for the soundboard as a foot, just whenever we stumble over our words and shit.
Oh man, that's incredible.
But anyway,
When are we gonna stop having old fucks?
I know.
Just
I
like
agree.
out of touch.
I agree. And then media wise, I watched. I'm still watching The Servant. I'm thinking about hanging it up.
Which one was
Watch
that
Midnight
again?
Mass instead, bro. I'm
not
telling
in-
you.
It's about the cult and the child. It's an Apple TV show. M. Night
Oh,
Shyamalan.
I thought you were describing the Mandalorian. Okay.
Good call.
It's kind of the same.
M. Night Shyamalan is behind it.
There you go.
Midnight Mass is a better cult.
Probably. But it started off super interesting. The first season, it's a couple. They've
Yo, he's jacking Midnight Mass.
You are jacking Midnight Mass heavy on it. So there's a couple. They have a baby. The baby dies. The mom can't deal with it. They buy like this $80,000 baby replica as like a therapy doll
I
to
don't like
help
the way this goes.
her. They hire a fucking nanny for the doll.
What?
The nanny's part of this cult and deals with the devil or whatever and brings the baby to life and then runs off with the baby back to the cult. And then they're trying to get the baby. Yeah, it's fucked up. But sound like the first season was kind of that. Now they're trying to like get the baby back and get in.
I want my baby back, baby back.
Chili's.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, Satan. But it's just not compelling.
The Boy is good.
It is.
It was the similar
premise, yeah.
with a different twist. It's got an M.
I make it with a lemon twist. And then the other thing is this other show that I'm watching that's on Hulu. Loving it. It's called 9 Perfect Strangers. And it's basically, it's culty and in nature,
Hear it.
but it's basically Nicole Kidman she was a hustler and a bustler, Joe, and she was making her way in this man's world, and she was making the big bucks and going to this country and that and moving up the corporate ladder, and she's a real shaker, you know what I mean? Then she comes close to death, leaves it all, studies yoga and all this shit, buys a area of land, has like a resort where other rich people can pay to go to like deal with their problems and get away from
Sounds real so far.
Yes, get away from reality and all this. But while they're there, she sneaks them. I'm still in the midst of it, and I don't want to spoil anything. But she takes their cell phones away and stuff, and she's like 30 people or 30,000 people. I don't know. Apply. She only picks 9 at a time. So it's a very high decline rate. And then you get to learn these characters, why they're there, what they have been going through that have put them there. One's like an ex-football player, or one has lost their son to suicide, one, this, that, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Highly recommend it so far.
What's it called?
9 Perfect Strangers.
9 Perfect Strangers.
The only thing that can make it better, Joe, is if Balky Bartokomous would pop up and be like, "How about 10, cousin Lottie?"
Oh man, the deep cuts. The deep cuts.
That's far.
All right. Enough about me. So notes wise, we do have a couple, and then we have a ton of questions. For one, rest in peace to the legend Gilbert Gottfried. That bummed me out to see.
Yago,
Yeah.
Affleck.
He played a lot of birds.
Yes.
And I remember...
I just named 2 birds.
I often quote that scene from Beverly Hills Cop 2 here, that you got one thing in one hand and what's in the other hand you're not paying attention to anymore. What is this? I don't even... Hold on, my wife's on the line. Bitch! But yeah, God bless him. So Thor Love and Thunder trailer.
They were watching at work. I purposely not watched.
Abstained. Well,
Honestly, you didn't miss much.
Yeah, you did.
They enjoyed it.
I mean, it's going to be a fun popcorn movie in the same vein.
Marvel.
Like Veiny Smurf.
Oh my God. Goddamn Veiny. Fucking fault. Bro, that fucking Veiny Smurf.
That shit is funny.
Bro, did you post it anywhere? Because like, the world is missing out.
I posted it on Instagram.
Bro, fucking Veiny Smurf.
Veiny Smurf.
That's fucking Pinkerton for you. That's his contribution to the world. Is fucking
Dude, the
Veiny
thing
Smurf.
about Billy Fong is that, and I call him Billy guy. His name is William. I don't mean to disrespect him, but he's rock and roll to me. Billy Fong is a rock and roll kind of name. He's so fucking quick.
Yes.
You know, like the day the shit comes out, if he decides he's going to do something, it's that day.
Yep.
He goes on Photoshop. He's like, all right, is there a Photoshop layer of veins?
Anyway, I forget where I was at with all this, but so look, here's the thing. I'm going to watch this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it.
Nothing, it's just a teaser trailer, to be fair. Doesn't do a fucking thing for me. And you know
eye
what?
candy.
You know what I'm starting to feel, Joe? And it's a little bit interesting to me. I feel like in recent years, maybe last 12 to 18 months, you've been really pushing this point of view of yours of comic books not having any new blood in them and nobody will turn them over and dig the soil up and, you know.
Yep.
And I don't necessarily agree with you in terms of comic books. But you know what's funny? I feel that exact way about the Marvel films, and I don't feel like you feel that way about the Marvel films.
No, I mean, I've not long. It's been a few years since, I still watch them, but it's been a few years since I have
been excited,
treated the same way.
Okay, fair enough.
No, I'm on the same boat with you.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe I'm
I
misreading.
watched them. No, it's ever since
I just feel like you've loved so many of the new. You've loved the Spider-Man and Shang-Chi and Eternals, and I feel like you've loved.
Well, Eternals is
a little bit of the turning of the sword.
I really like Eternals.
But I'm just like, this just doesn't, like, it might as well be, prepare yourself, Christopher.
I'm ready.
It might as well be Fast and Furious 11 to me.
Yes.
You know, like, it's just doing nothing for me. Like, other than, like, it's a thing. Like,
I mean, I watch it for eye candy for like the 2 hours. I don't really, most of them I don't think about afterwards.
I'm sorry. No. Well, I'm just going to say, I think some of us, as we get longer in the tooth, one, are aging out of their target demographic. Two, I think we got the Marvel story we really.
Yes.
If you stop at Infinity War, I know if you stop at Infinity War.
Well, no, for me, it's I want the X story.
Right, I know, and I know that, but
we haven't begun that
just
yet.
saying,
when we begin that, when we get excited again.
The journey of these characters, it seems it came to a natural end.
Yeah, we need something else now instead of an extension.
Wait, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Is now I feel like they would be better suited to, like, I don't. In hindsight, being 2020, of course,
2022.
Looking back, it's still a bit fuzzy.
I don't need Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, WandaVision, Thor 4, Snore S'more.
I'm going to go see Thor at 4:44.
I don't need any of that shit. Get all that shit out of here and give me the next wave. Give me, Moon Knight. You know, give me the next batch. Like, I'm ready to move the fuck on because, like, I
think we're in a transition phase.
I just feel like we're spinning wheels. I don't even feel like we're transitioning. It's like, I don't feel like we're getting out of the mud. We're just spinning wheels in the mud.
Well, I think that's a corporate thing in general. Shit selling this money.
You're probably right there.
How do you
fear of the next thing not selling? No, you're probably right.
Also,
especially with Eternals failing, kind of, in their eyes.
Right.
Yep.
And also, like, this is still making money. People, like, they've generated a group of characters that they want to last forever because they'll sell, because people know them now, like, really well. You're asking an audience to invest in something completely new, whereas I think they're trying to transition into something new, but I don't. But like you said, I don't think they might be. I think they're trying to add in new things while keep holding on to this shit. But eventually, they have to let it go. They don't have a choice.
I think this multiverse of madness is gonna have to be at least crack the door. I mean, we know we're getting. We've all heard the voice, Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah,
that's
what they should do, is just bring Star Trek into it.
I mean,
that's the twist. It's not the X-Men universe. It's the Star Trek universe.
What about that?
And Disney acquires it under wraps. You never knew. Now they own Paramount and take your Peacock subscription and shove it up your fucking ass. You know what I mean? Mm-mm. That's what I'm in for.
Yeah.
All right. On the Ezra Seat.
Oh my God.
I can't. Dude, no.
All right. So DC, Warner Brothers, etc. are refuting reports of high-level meeting to pause Ezra Miller's DC. So they're saying no. Now that's corporate all bullshit. But I don't know if that's true or not true. But they would say. I feel like they would say that regardless.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Now,
PR, bruh.
On top of that, shout out to Kale. Shout out to everybody that hit me up. Ezra Miller has been arrested in assault.
I don't, man. I hate to love train wrecks, but I love train wrecks.
Shortly after 1 a.m. on Tuesday, April 19th, 2022, a 29-year-old visitor from Vermont was arrested for second-degree assault with a deadly pepper, am I right? After an incident at a residence in Pahoa. Pahoa?
Because he threw a chair. Stone Cold's music.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, I know. That's fine.
At 1:10 a.m., Puna Patrol officer. That's not real. That's not real.
This whole article.
That's not real. That's not a real place, and that's not a real police department.
What fucking site is this?
Hey, take the perp to the Puna Patrol precinct, okay?
The Puna Patrol.
They responded to a report of an assault that occurred at a get-together at a private residence in Leilani Estate subdivision in Lower.
This shit is real.
All right. During the course of their investigation, police determined that the individual, later identified as Ezra Miller, became irate after being asked to leave and reportedly threw a chair, striking a 26-year-old female on the forehead.
Why is he always hitting chicks, bro? He always hitting chicks.
Getting hit with a chair in your forehead is nuts.
Again,
what part of the chair?
The leg? The fucking back?
What if it's just the foot?
Oh my God.
The foot of the leg hit you square in the fucking...
I think that could kill you.
It should bake your muffin.
It's like a heel to the side of the temple, bro.
Resulting in an approximate half-inch cut. So we're talking... I mean, it's pretty bad. Did they fly her out?
Well, half-inch wide or half-inch deep?
Did they put her on a...
Half-inch deep would be a problem.
Did they put her on a private jet straight to University of Maryland, Johns Hopkins, to make sure they could do surgery on this half-inch
Major
cut?
Reconstructive cosmetic surgery.
The female victim refused treatment for her injury. Probably the brain damage.
Do you know how that times people regret not going to the ambulance after the car accident, though?
Oh, because you got your bill, right? You don't realize you got your bill wrong. You should always go to the...
Have you been in a car accident?
Yeah,
every time I say no, I'm fine. But like, I do get neck pain. I've gotten neck pains and headaches afterwards.
I have two, but I know that there's. I also know, like, I have two. I got wrapped around a pole one time, so to speak. So heavy.
Which part of you got wrapped around? I'm saying,
like, I think I've told this story before, but this fucking lady ran a stop sign, hit me at 50 miles per hour, wrapped me around the light pole. My right hand could touch the hood of her car, and my left hand reaching behind my head could touch the light pole.
Yeah.
That's where I was in my
Wow,
car.
you're lucky.
Yeah. And like Laura got there and like started running and crying and screaming because it looked like a murder scene. Anyway, I refused treatment or whatever. And they eventually they're like, no, look, you really gotta go. Like, you really gotta go. And I'll never forget this one paramedic was like, look, we never want to take people We always try to talk them out of it. You really should go.
Yeah.
And I went.
Yeah.
And guess what? Nothing they could do for me other than they prescribed me Advil.
Yeah. Advil.
Well, Motrin.
Well, slow down there, buddy.
I know. Don't take them all in one.
Don't drink a beer while you take them.
Anyway, Miller, who I just say that to say this, that oftentimes an emergency room can't really do a whole lot for you anyway.
I thought they just want to image you just in case you have brain bleed and shit like that, internal injuries that you don't know about.
Yeah.
But I mean, I personally knew a guy who hit his head on a ladder and then died.
Exactly.
Like a few days later.
People from having car wrecks and dying.
Like that guy worked at my house. Like I know him. That's not a secondhand story.
Miller, who identifies as they, them.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. For a long time now.
Okay.
Yeah,
was subsequently arrested at 1:30 a.m. for assault in the second degree after being located on the roadway during a traffic stop at an intersection. After
get his ass out of Hawaii.
Conferring with the county prosecutor office, Miller was released pending further investigation.
Is he always hitting ladies though? I feel like it's always ladies.
No, it was a couple at the bar.
Well, one of them was a lady.
Yeah.
And the first time in Iceland was a lady.
He was like, BOGO!
I think our guy's he's got some mental health concerns, and
they do. Yeah,
they do.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe alcohol and partying
doesn't help.
And this is. I'm just going to say, I think people that are, if a company like Warner Brothers is investing in someone towards something, you got to have some people around them. You got to wrangle them, you know, to keep them out of this at least.
Yeah, I mean,
listen, if you want me to rent a house, I will pay people for you to just punch.
I bet you can,
but you can't just go to people's houses and fight them.
Look, I got.
Yeah. You can't do that anymore.
Just go to people's houses and fight them.
Hey, you want to fight? No? Okay.
I got news for you at this point.
I think he's done.
Not only is he probably done, but fucking The Flash might be done.
You don't think they'll put that movie out?
I don't think it's finished.
Wow.
So I don't know what they're gonna do, but I think that the ramifications of this are severe.
Yeah.
For DC fans, or even people that just want to see fucking Keaton back. Anyway. So I gotta put this in. So we're gonna move on to questions now. Before we give you the address of where to send questions, I just want to shout out Brian D, so to speak. He said, so my wife and I were listening, and she immediately wanted to send y'all a voice cat for the NRR email clip.
Oh, shit.
They sounded a bit off, so if you, Bobby, want to set up a time to call, she is willing to do a recording from her line to your equipment, so to speak.
That's the 800 number?
I'm going to tell you something. They didn't sound off. And Brian D, I respect you.
What have we created here?
Oh, God.
I respect you. I've already loaded this one in, so to speak. There's something about hearing this for a podcast that I was part of creating that made me tingle.
Are you proud?
Yeah.
Peter Tingle?
My DMs are open. I'm just kidding, but they are.
Same.
You can email us at nerdrageradiomail@gmail.com.
Yo, with all due respect, my dick moved.
Oh, wow.
But you know what you're doing when you send a clip, all right?
Oh,
don't be sending clips like that if you don't want people talking about your wife.
That's right.
But you are very lucky to have a wife with a voice like that. My wife would have sounded like she was taking an order at fucking Cava. So thank you, Brian, and thank her as well. You didn't mention a name, so thank her as well. Voice of a bloody angel, Joe. All right, so this is from Mal B. Train bots. Morgan, from California. Hey, NRR folks, just had a question. Why is Bobby interested in the Train bots combiner? They aren't characters that you know, so why collect them?
Oh,
so this
broke your own rule, huh?
Yeah. So this is a good question. So I had to ask myself this. So I have an answer, and it's not a great answer, but it comes down to two things. I do have a connection to combiners, and I have logistical space.
Yes.
So it's almost like, here's the thing, Morgan. On my left side, which is obviously the Crip side.
Inside of us, there are two wolves. One's a Crip, one's a blood.
I saw something recently. Oh, it was a battle rap guy. No, it was something, and he was talking about. He was battling a Crip, and he was talking about how much because if you ever see Crips on social media, they don't type or Bloods. No, Crips don't type K's. They only type C's.
Okay.
So like what the fuck becomes what the FUCC. They only type C's. They never do K's. And this guy was battling him, and he started talking about how obnoxious that must be. And he was like, "What?" He was. I can't remember the lines, but he was like, "You should quit rapping and just work on a Crip auto text app that would automatically replace all K's with C's." And then he's like, the punchline of it was, "And then you call it decrypted."
Wow, that's awesome.
Anyway, so on my left side, I have intended Bruticus, Menasor, Devastator, Predaking, Abominus. 5 combiners on my left side.
Good luck on that, Abominus.
Yeah, I'll never get an Abominus. I probably won't get a Predaking at this fucking rate. So right now I just have the 3. On my right side, I have Superion, a Defensor now coming. Yep. Hopefully one day a Computron.
Ugh, good luck with that one too.
Right, and then I have a Fort Max up there just to have 4. And if I have the train bots, it's a 5th, and it will make it symmetrical. Plus, I like combiners.
Love them. Who doesn't?
So, yes, you're right, Morgan. You're right that it is the exception to my rule. If I didn't have logistical space for it, I wouldn't buy it. And if it wasn't a combiner, I certainly wouldn't buy it. But I have a little bit of connection to combiners because I do like them. But if I didn't have the space, I don't like them enough to buy it if I didn't have the space.
Right.
And I mean, they look good and well built. So
yeah. I've been very excited about them. Next one, but it was a great question. I was like, this is a talking point.
Those have come out so quick.
They have, and they got another one right on the cusp, Christopher.
I saw something, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't one of the arms named Strong Arm?
Yeah. Or Iron Arm, maybe,
or something.
Yeah,
it's very on the nose. So.
They can just like not release the last one for years.
That's what they're gonna do.
Everybody's gonna be buying the fucking dead end. I'm calling every Fans Toys release from now on not dead end that turns into a blank. So like when they put out a Jazz, I'm gonna say, oh, here's the not dead end that turns into a car. Here's the not dead end that turns when they do Blaster that turns into a boombox.
Speaking of Stunticons, I'm in on this Hasbro set because I think it looks fucking great.
There's a Hasbro set?
Hasbro's doing it. And my question is, how long ago was those Combiner Wars Abominations? Was that
5
years ago? I mean, the amount of space they covered in 5 years is amazing.
So it's a new combiner?
Yeah.
Is it the first new combiner?
Yeah. So
wow, they're doing that first.
Heavy parts forming.
It's a frame. Oh. It's basically the trailer becomes the frame, and then the
that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay when parts are actually
part of the conglomerate.
Yes.
It also makes a great base. I'm sure everybody will enjoy.
Base mode has a strong base mode.
It's got a strong base mode.
This is from FP. He says, a story for the NRR
Fans Project. Oh, wow. We got everybody coming
in.
My
bad, FP. At least I didn't give you said. I should read these things first. Use my middle name referencing them. I didn't say anybody else's name, so we'll just go with FP. First time ever sending an email or whatever, but I figured I would share something that happened a few months back. First off, I appreciate you guys so much. All of you and any guest who comes on are always a pleasure to listen to. I started listening to you guys at a low point in my life, and because of certain circumstances, this podcast was in a way my only friend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Powerful. Hey, dude, listen, you sent your wife's voice in. Just making sure you know that.
Working 40 plus hours, graduate school, internships, and a toxic girlfriend drained my life.
Oh, wow. I know all that vibes.
But you guys were one of the few things that helped me get through. Anyways, the story. This was a dream I had last May, and it involves Bobby, Joe, and Chris.
Yo.
My God.
I'm gonna wear that one out.
Yeah, you are.
So to speak.
That's what she said.
In the dream, Bobby is having a drawing raffle or something. People pay $100. Damn, dude. Wow. I'm out here hustling. It was to raise money for a friend in need, and the winner got a chance to have lunch with the crew. I donated the money and got my entry into the raffle. Bobby ends up going live on Instagram, and then it turns out that I won. So I reach out, and we set a day for lunch. Bobby offered to have me over so that I could try a pizza that the three of you made, because in my dream, y'all have a pizza joint. Dude, I love the sound of it. I go in after eating. I get to see your collection and shit. I've seen your videos tours. It actually looked the same as that. On the next podcast, you start it off really upset. Turns out that your collection was stolen, your house robbed, and you asked listeners to help you track down the thief. The following week, you started off by saying that you found out who the thief is and that you were going to have a live stream where you confront and beat the shit out of the thief.
That sounds like Bobby, though.
Yeah.
That is something he would do.
I am actually excited to watch because I grew up in a poor hood where that was the daily, and I was always down to watch. Violence isn't cool. I do not support violence. Haha. Anyways, a trailer 18-wheeler shows up to my house, and I see it open vertically, lengthwise. Inside is the NRR crew and several other people who you know. There are cameras, and you have a mic. You get off and start as if you were opening the podcast. Turns out I'm the thief. You and everyone get off and surround me. You have some sort of homies hog tie me, and you'll drag me into the home, take me into my collection room, and you talk shit about every piece in my collection and proceed to smash each one in front of my face. You remind me that I'm nothing and that I now, Jesus, even more alone, that if I listen to your podcast again, that you'd rip my eardrums out. What? Before you leave, you grab the last piece of my collection, Masterpiece Optimus Primal. You laugh and ask me to make monkey noises.
Wow.
No.
I do not comply, and you laugh. After being beat for a few minutes by everyone, you grab the toy and shove it into my face as you remove your mask and say, you could keep your piece of shit monkey toy and remember not to fuck with me or listen to me ever again. Everyone leaves, and I immediately wake up. The sad part, when you removed your mask, it was Bill Burr.
I mean, that's who would play Bobby in a movie.
This is the dream I had during my depression. You guys were a highlight of my life. I still love listening to everything y'all do. I'm a $10 Patreon, and then he asked for this. So having this dream was terrible at the time. I'm now past that depression, and I'm in a better place. Grad school is over, and I left that toxic bitch of a girlfriend. Thank you for existing. You've made an impact on this human more than you'll ever know. Love to hear it.
Love to hear it, man.
That's powerful stuff, man.
And also,
That's a wild-ass dream, bro.
Yeah, you don't have to win any contest if you're ever in the area. Just hit me up, and also, you can swing on through.
Pretty expensive. Who would you pay $100 to enter a raffle to have lunch with?
Calm down, Ixnay on the expensive, Joseph.
I don't think I would.
Expense is in the eye of the beholder.
All right. So the next one is from Rick F. What's up, Vamp? This motherfucker, Vamp Buyers. I wanted to let you. I've told that story before. I wanted to let you guys know I take your show and film suggestions such as The Expanse.
Hell yeah.
However, I've slowed down during season 4 since it got a little stale for me.
Season 4 is on Laconia, and it does push through, though, man. It tells a great story at the end.
I also saw Color Out of Space based on Joe's recommendation as well. I saw Dracula Untold, though. Wasn't feeling that one. I think I like that one.
I like that one, too.
On to my question. It was a more serious one. What's your take on cultural appropriation? I know it's a sensitive subject, but in my eyes, I think most of the time it's coming from a place of love and admiration. I can kind of see how some races or cultures can kind of be upset about it, but I think everything we love and do is a mixture of everything. Love to hear your take on it. Keep up the good work. Rick F. I think it's bullshit. My general, there's a difference between cultural appropriation, what people call it anyway, and cultural exploitation.
Correct.
Cultural exploitation, I'm generally against. I don't need a rap song to sell, but it's tricky, right? I don't need a rap song to sell Fruit Loops, right? But when Pusha T does a rap song for Arby's dissing McDonald's, I'm kind of up for that. But I know that's not exploitive in the same way. I think when something is sincere and genuine, like I've lost my shit about this topic in the past. But like, you want to know where my life is without cultural appropriation, Joe? I don't eat fucking tacos. Or fajitas. Or pizza. I don't listen to hip hop music. I don't fucking eat pizza. Well, I guess I can sneak that one in. But I'm Irish, so I gotta have fucking potatoes all the time too. I don't want that.
Cabbages.
Have you ever had fucking British food? It's awful.
Mostly.
There goes our British listeners.
Well,
I'm not talking about it anymore.
Sorry, Sam. Sorry, Cody.
But
sorry, everybody else.
But you know, like my general thoughts on cultural appropriation is that it's nonsense. It's a nonsense idea, and that life only enriches when you share your shit.
Yes, I agree with all that. But
I think
there's a certain point in which it becomes really cringy and like I don't know.
I mean, I think Bobby, you hit the nail on the head, so to speak, is the exploitation versus appropriation.
Yeah, I mean,
and sometimes it's just out of ignorance, man.
And sometimes,
which I think it should be a teaching moment instead of a shitting on moment. It should be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't wear certain thing that you're wearing because it's kind of offensive or whatever.
And sometimes we mistaken culture with race, and that's bullshit. Also,
right? Yes.
You know, like you know, if anime. right? It's not a race. It's a culture. And you don't have to be that race to be a part of that culture. You just have to be a part of that culture to be a part of that culture.
Exactly.
You know, like it's frustrating because I feel like it's a very one-way street when it's often used, the term cultural appropriation. And the truth is that all of our lives are better for being able to share cultural components and elements to a melting pot, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and I think it's always taken an extreme, right? That's the problem with things. I agree with everything you say, but like sometimes there's just an outlier, and I look at him and I'm like, that doesn't seem right. I can't think of off the top of my head what it is. People use terms freely. That's why things stop meaning anything. Like people throw around the term cultural appropriation, so it doesn't mean anything anymore. So when I see a person that's not fucking quite right, like I can't use that term anymore.
Because when something means everything, it ultimately means nothing.
Right,
exactly.
But there's definitely times when I've seen like some things that aren't right to me.
I think that's when it becomes exploitive, or exploitative, I think is the way you're supposed to say it. But like, like
all fetishes. That's like sometimes people fetishize about a culture and then they take it too far.
I would need to know more about that, because I think you can fetishize about something and dabble in it, and that's okay. And then
let's say the white guy with samurai swords that wears a kimono around his house.
Yeah, it becomes a bit much.
But if he's into it, like if it's not to me, if it's not just to turn a buck or get another Instagram follower, if that's just like what is in his heart, and he's into samurai culture and he has books on there, it
just becomes cringy. And there's nothing wrong with it per se, but
it doesn't even it doesn't bother me any more than 1,000 other fucking different things bother me. But it's just like it's just like that's not for me. In the same way that when I see like some vegan post, I'm like, that's not for me either. But I don't doubt whether or not they're authentically vegan.
Right.
In fact, I believe that they're authentically vegan. I just don't want to watch anything about that. And I want, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, man, like I think as long as you love the shit, if you're into it, if it's real, if it's genuine, if it's authentic, like then fucking you're better off for it. I would say culturally appropriate more in a way, like keep your mind open to shit. That is my personal opinion.
I mostly agree with like all of that.
All right, so Blaster. We said in the thing last week, which I do love. Blaster, I need you to turn the vocals up on that though, because I want to put that on the board too.
Turn me up on my headphones.
But your vocals are. So let's talk about it for a second. He says, my wife, Borat, Cultural Learnings of America for Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan, circa 2006. Been meaning to send an audio message, but time was not on my side, baby. So the age-old question, and I quote, is that your wife? Which is what we asked of his audio that he sent in last week, if you remember the whole commercial. I think for now, I will say is you certainly DM'd her in often at that, so there's one step already taken care of. Yeah, quite the mystery wrapped in the conundrum.
Hello?
All in all seriousness, though, without specifics, Bobby, my teeth are not long and experienced, so obviously I had to improvise in order to get something at least somewhat authentic adjacent. So I'm wondering if it's him auto-tuning his voice to sound like a lady.
Okay.
In which case, we're just going to go ahead, Blaster, and stick with old. Was I not sexy? Was I not sexy enough for you, Bobby? Did I? So I'm guessing that makes me question some things in my own soul about how I felt about the video last week, but we'll leave it at that. He said, in all seriousness though, I had a lot of fun putting it together. Your reactions to that and the Phil shit had me dying of laughter. And no, I'm not like Phil getting caught in the middle of a dig with cosplay anime girls on Twitter. Legit, I'm ready to draft some sort of checklist for him. Dude, Phil is going nuts on the thirst. We had a new nickname for him because I went on Twitter to see. Phil, you are really shooting your shot. I'm not mad at you, but I got a new name for you, Phil. The Thought Provoker. All right, Shane G. Good morning or good afternoon, Ragers. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine this. It's Friday evening. You and the family are planning to head out for dinner for quality time. Dinner comes first, so all you load up in the car. It's about 20 to 25 minute drive to a restaurant, and you're getting hungry. The weather is nice. Everyone is in a great mood. The vibe is great. Then it happens. About 15 minutes into the drive, it happens. You let out a sneeze, and with that sneeze comes the dreaded shart. You feel it? You're not enough to come out of the back of your pants, but enough just to not quite feel right.
Oh, when the lubed up butt crack.
At this
Mud butt.
At this point, you're at a crossroads. What do? Do you turn around and go home to correct the situation? Do you find a stopping point midway to check your situation? Do you push through to the restaurant, get the family sorted at the table, then fly to the bathroom and assess the situation? Just remember, or go commando. Just remember, stopping beforehand means admitting to your family that you may have shit yourself in the car and have to live with that ridicule that will come. Really curious to hear what you guys have to say. Have a great rest of the week.
I mean, Bobby's already
you know
crossed that road.
But not in a family trip.
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm going to just say, hey, I think I just shit myself. I'm just gonna ride with this till we get to that. I mean, with my family, that's what I do.
Yeah, me too.
I'll sort it out when I get there. If I need to throw away my underwear, I'll throw away my underwear.
So I'm gonna say that I got an emergency. I got to get to the bathroom quick. I'm gonna say I got something, and I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna sell it as if something is brewing. You know, and then I'm gonna get to the bathroom. I'm chucking the drawers. And I'm going commando after I tidy myself up a bit back.
I might have cleaned up after you at an auto parts bathroom before.
Shitty underwear.
Oh, that's so gross. I know you probably dealt with that too at the farm, different places.
Yeah.
You know when you worked
At
on the
the
farm.
farm.
You know, Joe. You remember when you worked on the farm?
You worked at the farm, yeah.
No, with like anyone close to me, I would just be like, I think I just fucking shorted, bro. I would just say out loud. I don't care.
Billings writes in and says leftover pizza, cold or reheated.
Depends on the.
I'm a reheat.
Not in the fucking microwave,
not in
though.
the microwave.
Air fryer, buddy.
Not.
So I've never tried that.
Dude,
I've never
it's a
tried
game
that.
changer.
Yeah,
I will own.
Fuck your coat of air frying motherfuckers. I don't need a fucking air fryer.
Okay,
it's not better than everything else.
Tell me how you
Just in the fucking bread oven.
And the bread, what's a bread oven?
It's not a toast oven because a toaster.
I don't have a fucking.
I don't have a bread
You're
oven.
talking shit about air fryers, and you have something called a bread oven.
It's the small.
It's
oven.
a fucking toaster oven, bro.
Is that what that is?
That's what that is. No, a bread, so you can put whole loaves of bread in there. Is that what it's
I
for?
put bread in there because I don't have a toaster.
For the
You
listeners,
don't have a toaster.
I got rid of my toaster because I don't need multiple things that do the same thing like a fucking air fryer.
Well, guess what? Your goddamn oven will do all of it, Joe. So sell it all.
That's true. For the listeners,
Electricity it takes so much time to fucking heat up. The
It does
small
take time to
oven,
heat up.
The small
air
oven
fryer's
heats
the
up
same
right
way.
away. I don't
put it
need
in
a
there.
fucking air fryer because it's the same thing as an oven, just more expensive and fancy and in a coat.
I will own an air fryer just to warm up pizza for the rest of my life.
That's how you know you're in a cult. That's
other reason.
exactly how you know you're in a cult. Yes.
for the listeners,
Well, that's why I shaved my head.
when Joe
Not
said
the air fryer.
when Joe said it's not a toaster oven, he said I thought a toaster was, and he moved his index finger up and down to illustrate the action of putting bread down in the toaster.
I had a toaster that I recently got rid of because I don't need a fucking second appliance that does the same thing. Only one thing. Only does fucking toast and Pop-Tarts. Taking up space.
Can we put I want to see who the fuck owns a toaster oven in 2022.
I don't own one.
I haven't seen one in the wild.
I mean, you
except
can
at
use
your
the
house.
regular oven.
You can, but I also can use the air fryer.
But you don't
and I just
have
press
to
like
have
3
it.
buttons.
Why do you need
air fryer's huge?
Why do you need? That's something like the real estate and the fucking money for something that does the same fucking thing. There's nothing an air fryer does that an oven doesn't do. Unless it's one of those multiple shits where it also does the smoking and the barbecue. Get a fucking real smoker and a barbecue, you fuck. And things that do multiple things never work as well as the one thing that does the one thing. Don't get a fucking air fucking. Don't get a fucking hair conditioner and shampoo in one because that shit does not work the same way as shampoo and then conditioning.
Hey Joe.
Not that you guys would know.
If I show you a picture, could you show me where the air fryer hurt you?
Well, I think that I'm a heat up in the oven. Just
Same.
Like
Who brought this question up?
Billings.
Go fuck yourself. What is art?
God damn it! Art's an air. Fucking air fryer's art. That's what's art.
But I would like to try an air fryer, but I don't. The size of an air fryer is just,
bro. They make them in all different sizes.
Yeah, but they're all obnoxious.
Yes, you don't need them. They don't fucking do the thing that.
I'm not sure that that's true because sometimes
what do they do that you can't get a different appliance that you already own?
No. That I agree with.
But we have a rotisserie in our.
But it's about the speed. It's about the speed that they do it.
And
like
there's no. I don't have to preheat it. I just put the shit in, press the buttons.
So I would get an air fryer before I got a toaster oven.
Well, I already have one. Mine's from 1982.
Yeah,
I still have it.
Is it Emerson brand?
Oh, you got the little bars that heat up red.
Yes,
that's what it is.
That is exactly what it is.
So
and
basically,
it's simple. It's
he's got one of them.
For 20
he got
fucking
one
years.
Of them always toasters with the big slots.
Dude, I still love. I thought a toaster was finger. Yeah.
That's me being foreign.
But I don't fuck with cold pizza. Like,
I don't.
I can't eat it, but I don't prefer it.
Like, I'll eat, like if pizza, if it's like been 2 hours and it's still out, like I'm at a party or whatever, I'll eat a piece like that, but I'm not going to get it out of the refrigerator.
All right, so I'm leaving pizza fresh to your house and pizza that's been out for a couple hours off the table.
Okay.
I'm going to go in order. Okay. Pizza in a oven, or a toaster oven, which will do the same thing, or an air fryer, which I imagine will do the same thing. I've never had air fryer food, but from looking at the pictures and stuff of people, Dust
air
in particular,
fryer food.
FFF.
It doesn't fry shit. It's just an oven.
Yeah,
if you want to fry shit, you put in oil.
So I imagine that those are all similar ballparks. I'm going to put them. That's my number one choice. My number two choice is just it was left in the box overnight.
Yes, I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
You don't need to refrigerate pizza because that shit should be eaten the next day.
Yep, I can do that. My number three. Now we're getting into that's that shit I don't like. Number three is microwave.
Yeah.
No, I prefer
just me. Dude, let me speak my truth. Let me speak my truth. This is why we need the Tendler Swindler. Not enough men able to speak the truth. And then number four, my last resort is cold pizza. I do not like cold pizza.
Out of the fridge. Yeah,
Yes,
no.
yes.
The consistency is not good either.
That's my last choice. Some people love it.
Mason will just, he's like, I'm gonna have some pizza for lunch and just go into it cold. The trick for the microwave is put a small cup of water in there.
I've heard that.
And it keeps the crust from getting so damn chewy. It's not crisp at all, but it's not cold.
Like that, just leave your fucking pizza out because like there's something wrong with you if you can't finish a pizza in 2 days.
Yeah,
and it's okay to leave a pizza out overnight.
That's fair.
Like, why would it be there at the third day? You don't need to refrigerate it.
So Caleb D writes in and hits us with an actually. So who knows where this is headed? Benedict Cumberbatch was.
Wow.
He said Camber bitch. Was Doctor Strange, not Doctor Who. Wasn't he also a Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Was he?
Benedict
I don't know.
Yes, he was Doctor Who.
But we do know he was Doctor Strange. We all know he was Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. He was
Khan?
He was Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
Benedict. Let's get to the bottom of it. Cumberbatch.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who?
You might have
Yeah, he was definitely Doctor Who.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The Fall of the 11th, or unless that's all fan art shit.
No, he was.
Okay.
He wasn't one of the Doctors.
There's a lot of Doctor
That's
Who's.
actually, it got, I'm not a Doctor Who fan. I don't know, but from what I could see.
Oh, this says fan art.
Doctor Who.
Just look up Doctor Who's, and you'll see a list of all the Doctor Who's. Don't use his name.
Benedict Cumberbatch, IMDb.
Doing it the hard way.
The Imitation Star Trek. Doctor Strange. Oh, dude, I don't know.
Oh, is this a Mandela effect, bro?
This might be the Mandela effect, or it might just be we were wrong.
Well, there is a different different British guy who's kind of like weird looking who was a Doctor Who. So I'm thinking maybe you think is that guy. Is it Purple Man? Purple Man was the Doctor Who.
So yeah, I don't know if he was. So he might have got us with the Ashley.
Yeah.
Well,
just look up a list of Doctor Who's, bro.
So
it's like 30 of them or some shit like that.
So thank you, Caleb. He said he just became a pop culture vulture on Patreon. So thank you for that as well. And please, Patreon folks, take care of that take advantage rather of the past. Like there's so much shit of Patreon content over years and years and years of shit of just take advantage of everything. Paul C writes in, before my question this week, I wanted to bring up Bobby's love of walking past a whole line of people at the post office and just dropping off this stuff. If you want to know what that's actually called, there's a concept based on the German word Schadenfreude.
Why do you sound
mentally ridiculous?
I don't know.
I think I sounded good. I think you're hating on me a little bit. I think I just made all the German girls go. This means taking pleasure in the misfortune of others. And I also like tragedies.
Train wrecks.
And I also like tragedies. The enjoyment you got at the post office is right in that pocket. It really is delicious. Though to the true sticklers to that term, it's technically just that it falls under that umbrella. The true example of that term would be when someone was carrying 10 boxes and then you laughed at them when they tripped and dropped them off.
It's fail videos. We love watching fail videos.
Yeah, but in real life, I'm helping.
But laughing also.
Later.
Rob Dyrdek made a career out of people getting hurt and Bobby laughing.
In real life, I'd be like, fuck, man, let me I'm that way immediately. And
Well, my knee-jerk reaction is to see if they really hurt or not. If they're not really hurt, then I start laughing.
Well, so my thing is I think it's because there's a job at hand.
Okay.
And once we get the job done, then we can have a laugh.
Right.
Yeah, I just worry about people actually being hurt. If they're not hurt, then it's fair game.
Anyway, after all of that, here's an easier question for you. What is your go-to urinal stance? What the fuck?
Because motherfuckers be standing and wiping their asses like,
I know.
People on my chat and Twitch are fucking wilding out. They didn't know either that you do that.
That you do that?
Why are you looking at me?
We didn't know you were a stander.
That's right. You're talking about the
standing and wiping your ass. Yeah,
I'm not alone. I'm not standing alone.
I'm not standing alone.
Hey, I wish I was seeing.
Not a Godsmack. There's another stander in my chat, but he's also a fucking giant. He's like a human Sasquatch.
I think it's part of because Ricky said something similar.
He's like 6'8".
Yeah,
like
just the geometry doesn't work.
Are you? So.
I don't know if I told you guys this on the air or not, but I tried your side wiping shit, got a cramp in my hip, and almost fell off the goddamn toilet. So fuck y'all, I'm standing up. Unless somebody wants to spot me, I'm standing up.
Needing a spotter is wild.
Or some fucking hand.
I think when you're a spotter in the bathroom, it means something very different.
Oh God!
Sorry for your loss. You know what I'm saying?
Dang it, Bobby!
All right. Are you a hand on the wall guy? Are you both hands down facing forward guy? Are you a both hands on the hips guy? What? Is it any different if you're out and you've been drinking? Do you engage in stall talk? I do not participate in stall talk personally, but I can see Mr. Social Skullface striking up a conversation with just for the lulls. How's it hanging?
I like to
Dick Claire.
I like to T-pose to establish dominance in the bathroom. I guess I like to lean with my forearm. Sometimes I'm kidding. I don't do that.
Never put your hand on the wall.
Yeah, I don't.
Always boogers. 100% of the times there's boogers on the wall.
Yeah.
100.
I'm just one hand on my meat, and
that's right.
and that's it.
I mean, I have to have two on mine, but
I have to have one to keep my zipper open thing, so I don't fucking just.
So that was the question I was going to ask. Are you through the hole or over the fence?
No, there's too much precious cargo next to sharp objects there. I'm a
over the fence.
I'm a unbelter.
Yeah, I'm an over the fence guy too.
There's a lot of like pants by the anklers.
That's
why grown ass people.
I've seen grown ass.
You ever go into the bathroom with a mentally ridiculous kid? Or not, I mean, it's like an adult, but his pants are down like by his ankles.
I wonder.
Dang it, Bobby.
Yeah,
it takes so much work to bend down to pick the shit back up. But I've seen people drop
just regular people,
regular men, like men. With the pants around the ankle in the urinal.
You're getting real Bill Cosby with this story. Just that you're pacing.
I don't know.
With the pants around the ankles
and their legs are showing. The back of their knees are exposed.
The buttocks.
Yeah,
dude. Sometimes I put my junk under my shorts. That's the crazy part.
Oh, I've pulled like if I have basketball shorts. I pulled all the way, but the leg all the way up.
Yeah.
I saw some. I saw.
You fucking nuts.
Not in public. Not in public. Hey, but I
walked in and saw your big ass with a leg up. I'm gonna laugh my way out of the fucking bathroom.
Yo, I saw somebody in public, like at a airport, do that shit. They pull their pants leg. I mean, they had it all the way. I'm like, why is there so much thigh in the fucking bathroom?
Because there's a loose shorts anyway. It's easy to pull it up from underneath.
It is. Yeah.
And your whole thing just hangs free.
Depends on what you're working
sometimes you
with.
put the fucking shorts underneath your balls, right? It has a little bit of cutoff that you don't know about.
That's right.
And then when you go to pull your shorts on, the last drips comes out and then you just piss yourself a little bit.
But, there's like you can shake it, you can beat it, you can break it against the wall, but when you put it in your pants, the very last drop shall fall.
That's about right.
So that's why I pull it through the hole, because it's less likely.
Wet britches.
Less likely to still have some fucking piss in your tube.
That's true. Mike Honcho, he writes in and
what are we
says,
talking about today, man? What are we doing? What are we doing here? How long have we been here for?
Spreading the truth here.
Yo, Ragers, notice you guys talking about taking dumps. What are we doing?
Yo, we be taking
I'm with Joe. What are we doing?
Here,
we be taking mad dumps.
Dumps. And thought there was a notable exception from the conversation because it's one of the most unique things I've ever heard. Pinkerton's poop hanger. Joe even asked
Yes.
him who taught him how to wipe, but no mention of this method at all. I have to think the poop hanger was an original idea. My question to Pinkerton is this. Were you the guy to ask it to help open a car if the keys were locked inside? In other words, did you keep that thing on you? Now, this isn't me being judgmental because I would suppose people would think my method is wild. So I, too, will share a story about spreading my ass as my handle, Mike Honcho, implies. Cue up the... No! I have one of those... He said cue him up, so I'm just going to get ready. I have one of those Japanese washlet toilet seats.
Bidets.
And shoot that stream so
Yes.
it's knocking on my back door to stimulate an event.
Yes.
Bidet, mate.
And even prime the pump if need be. I call it blessing the rains down in Africa. I will never not own one of these sprayer seats because not only does it help clean up the mess, but it gets the party started.
Dude, that's the problem. That's the problem. I cannot use a bidet without getting turned on. If I use a bidet, I have to immediately jerk off or have sex.
Also,
so
to
I
the-
can't do it.
Hey, honey, cancel the bidet and never invite people over.
Also, to the single guys who have had ladies over, having a bidet is baller. Tasty taints indeed.
Wow. Oh, hang on. The beginning of that,
yeah,
what was he?
Yeah, I'm not sure. The Pinkerton poop hanger, that's
Okay.
a Enter the Realm story.
So
if
here's
memory
the
serves.
story.
And then he says, my question to Pinkerton is, so tell the story, and then were you the guy to ask to open a car if the keys were locked inside? Or in other words, did you have that thing on you?
Oh yeah. So I mean, I had to shit really bad one day, and I was at a abortion clinic, so everything just kind of worked out. I locked my keys in my car that day as well. So,
Oh, God. Dude.
that's not the story, but it is a story. Honestly, me and my brother took big ass shits, and my mom got tired of having to always deal with it. So we had a fishbowl with a coat hanger in it in the closet in the bathroom. My brother-in-law had and probably to this day has a spoon in the bathroom. It's not a wooden spoon anymore. That one got infected, so he goes with stainless steel. And also,
wrong with your
currently,
people?
no, available online right now. And this is probably my biggest missed opportunity. There's a company that sells disposable poop knives. It looks like a silverware set knife, except it's like, I don't know, a foot long, so you can get all the way down and saw your business up.
I saw this.
I can't.
It's not that uncommon.
I saw this dad joke. This dad joke meme recently that had me laughing. It was like, I don't know, maybe you've seen it. Maybe it's been circulating. I don't know. But it was like, dude, last week my daughter came out of the closet and I am completely fucking disgusted. I can't believe I didn't say, hi, gay. I'm dad. Nice to meet you. He's like, I feel like I missed the ultimate dad response and I'll never have that opportunity again.
It's on Amazon, Joe. You can buy a poop
$20
knife.
spatula.
Yo,
That's a spatula.
No, it's a pack of them.
What, do you flush? Are they flushable?
Dude, that would be the
That's the way to go. Because like otherwise, you shouldn't have a shitty knife in your fucking toilet and in your toilet trash can. How bad is your trash can to smell when you're just full of shit knives?
I got news for you. This next question is continuing.
Oh my god!
Well, hang on. Let me see if I can find the. Oh, look! It's got a strong metal core, Joe, and a hygienic. Oh, it's silicone. Oh my god! This is like the
doesn't
spatula
stick?
that you clean out the bowl with after. Oh, hang on. Okay, be a samurai of the poo poo platter. That's what it says. This knife.
Cultural appropriation.
This knife. If your ass is a Chinese
Platters
restaurant,
are Chinese and samurai's are
I'll have
Japanese.
that
Goddammit!
poo-poo platter. Metal reinforced silicone is strong, hygienic, easy to clean, and dishwasher safe if you dare.
Yo,
Yeah, this will cut poop. So there you go. And for some reason, it's listed in toys and games, and it's $20,339 in sales. So yeah, let's bring on the feces.
So this is from Dave.
Hey, Dave.
He says, he opens it up as, shut the fuck up, Donnie. Hey guys, bonjour from Germany. First thing is, you guys are doing great work. But I just listened to the Chunky Cheese episode. I laughed a lot and learned more about you guys on a personal level. Can we please address the elephant in the room? Bobby, please look at Chris in his eyes.
Oh no.
How the fuck does Chris wipe his ass this long into his life? What the fuck?
Yes, I
Y'all
was
are just
perplexed.
blown away by this.
I'm fucking blown away. Like a lot of people are. It's not just me, man.
Since you guys have shared personal info,
I've shared this. I'm telling you, I've shared this story to dozens of people, and they all look at me like I'm wild.
I'll start with I'm a wiper from in between the legs.
Yeah, you can do that if you have a what you make a squatty potty, man.
A little dick. I'm just kidding.
You hold your junk up.
I'm
I would
just
hope.
kidding. He
That
said,
sounds so horrifying to me.
he said, I'll sit on the toilet with my knees far apart, like they don't like each other. Grab my dick and pull up my mushroom stamp to my belly button. You're nuts. Take 2 to 4 shit tickets, neatly folded, depending on quality of the paper, and wipe back to front betwixt my legs.
I sometimes do that.
Okay. All cards are on the table. I'm originally from New York and moved down to Alabama because of the military. I lived in that area for about 9 years, loved it, and thought the people were great. It's a different culture than New York for sure, but I still loved it there. You could say it's a little slower paced in Alabama. I tell you this to say that Chris describing how he wipes his ass by standing up and bending over was the most Alabama thing I've ever heard in my life. The only thing more Alabama Chris could do would be to scream Roll Tide or War Eagle at the top of his lungs as he wipes his chocolate starfish. Wow.
Chocolate starfish, hell yeah, that's my mascot.
Bobby and Joe, Roll Tide and War Eagle are team slogans for college football teams in Alabama. He's just bringing us
know
up
about the Roll Tide. I say that all the time.
He does. This episode caused me to ask my wife's friends how they wipe. My wife is Turkish/German, so all of her friends are European. So a couple of nights ago, we were drinking and talking. I brought up the topic and learned they all wipe to the side like Bobby for the most part. Mm-hmm. They also fold the paper to wipe. Come to find out, they actually learn how to wipe, not just from the parents at home, but also in school when they are younger. So maybe that's why they all wipe the same way. I told them about how Americans seem to learn from their parents to some degree, and the rest is figuring out on your own. Maybe that's why we are so different. They asked if we really clump up the toilet paper to wipe, and I told them, yeah, a lot of us do. The one guy looked at me and said with his thick German accent, that's such a cowboy thing to do. I can't argue with that. Joe, I recommend a John Goodman marathon if you want some movies to watch.
I like John Goodman.
Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou?
I love that movie.
Key
I have
grip.
the soundtrack.
Key grip is Charlie Mariquin. The Big Lebowski. The key grip is Jerry Day.
Wow.
Red State. Key grip is Peter Drinko. Raising Arizona. Key grip of Dennis Gamilio. Fallen. Key grip of David Morrill.
Fallen's great.
Yeah. Arachnophobia. Key grip of Bobby Huber. Great work, guys. Keep being awesome.
I think our podcast has single-handedly brought more attention to key grips than anything else in the world.
Are we a key grip awareness?
We are. It's the KGA. So as you probably know, the internet is already. We're back on poop, by the way.
Yes.
There's on Reddit 4 years ago. There was a 950 people answered this survey. Do you sit or wipe? 65% was male, 32% female, and 18% other. For males, 62%. Sit down, while 37% stand up. For females, and this one's kind of wild to me, to be honest, females 73% sit and 26% stand. So there you go. There's the
Wild.
Reddit data.
And then our last one from, let's see, Johnny D. Sup Ragers. First I gotta say how much I enjoy the pod. My homies and I don't really live close together anymore, and we have families, so getting together even on the phone or online is a challenge. Listening to your convos while I work nights lights up those parts of my brain and releases a nice soothing flood of endorphins, so that's a solid service. I'm glad to chip in for the old Patreon. Cheers.
Wow.
First, a story, then a question. I was listening to the episode where Bobby talked about a frank conversation he had with his daughter concerning drugs and alcohol and recognized a kindred parenting style. I've been working very hard to have an open, honest relationship with my now 12-year-old daughter, and it's paying off maybe too well. She recently hit me up with the following questions all in a single conversation. Can you see the individual balls through the sack? Do boys make sperm every time they get an erection? What does sperm look like? How big is a penis? What's the thing called that you put on a penis to stop it from making sperm? Can a boy make sperm without having sex? If so, how? What do you do with the sperm after you use it? Throw it away, or can you take it?
Use it,
or can you take it to the sperm bank?
Wow,
those are all logical questions.
Yes.
It's pretty fucking wild. But
And I want you all to know I handled every one of those questions without hesitation, shame, or deception. It was uncomfortable for me, but I didn't crack. Afterward, I felt incredibly gratified that she got those answers from me and not some jabroni middle schooler.
hey, yo.
Moreover, I'm very proud of the work her mother and I have done to make this relationship one where the kiddos feel comfortable coming to us with life's big mysteries.
That's
Sounds like,
really good. That's really fucking good, man. Good job, bro.
It sounds like Bobby's fostering a similar home situation. If so, congrats to him and Laura on their tight parenting game. Now, the question, don't worry, it's not about sperm. Let's say you guys were to each start your own third-party company in today's market, preferably Transformers, based on what makes for the best pod, but whatever makes for the best pod. What figure would you start with? What crazy ass legally distinct name would you give it? And what aspects of toy making would your companies prioritize? Engineering, sculpt, paint. Thanks for all you do, and hope you all have fantastic nerd weeks. Johnny D. So I just recently was asked, it was going to be on a sit down Saturday, I think this week, but and I recently brought it up also, like kind of spur of the moment in a previous where I was like, I know what I would do now, without doubt. I would call my company Zap-A-Gap, like the glue.
Zap-A-Gap. Wow.
And I would make obvious holes, so to speak, filled with characters. So like you'd get your Farrell for X-Force, you'd get your Target Masters for the Autobots and for the Decepticons. You would get all the obvious holes in the collection across all of them,
the franchises.
All of them. You get a 2 tubes. I'm zapping all the gaps, and the beauty would be that you never know what franchise I'm going to play in next. You don't know what gap is going to get zapped. You know what I mean? That'd be my little slogan to pop up, and I would definitely emphasize sculpt and paint.
I think you can actually. That's actually a workable business model at this
That's what I'm
point.
talking about, dude.
That sounds like a nightmare to me. Just from the logistics standpoint, it sounds like a nightmare. Oh gosh, I wouldn't.
Yeah, same.
I do not want to be involved in selling action figures.
I don't even take promotions at work because I don't want more responsibility.
Yeah, I will tell you, I know that Chris, you've looked into it a little bit here and there, and I've looked into it a little bit here and there, and it is a fucking money pit.
Yeah, I mean, you got years to get your money back off of one mold sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
and we're not talking about that. We're talking about tens of thousands of dollars if you're lucky. It's not. Like like all those, like I feel like there's all this, like, don't get in, like YouTube people will be like, don't get into it for the money. Don't get into it for the money. It's like that's the same thing with making toys. Like, do you know, because like it just, you got to have the capital to make that shit worthwhile.
Right. You do.
I think that's it.
Hey, real quick, I just want to plug starting Monday, whatever the date will be Monday. I'm getting there. Hang on.
Well, in the meantime, I'll tell them where to send in questions at.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can email us at nerdrageradiomail@gmail.com.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Monday the 25th, the Realm Collectors will start taking pre-orders on the Rockbox 2022. This is a three years in the making. So we'll have those pre-orders up on RealmCollectors.com and probably during ETR that night. So got some really cool shit, kind of super limited stuff that I don't think anybody else would ever think to offer out. So it's a secret. There's a t-shirt. That's all you get. I'm sure I'll whore that out pretty often while we're on here.
Yeah.
Shout out to the rest of the Cool Table. As far as I'm concerned, you're part of the Cool Table if you listen to this podcast, and even cooler if you make your own podcast.
Boom.
Shout out to the rest of the Nerd Rage team, Dante on Facebook, and Phil out there trying to quench his thirst, and also helping us with our notes and Twitter. Shout out to Ricky Tiki Timber on the videos, and Raul on Instagram, and everyone else that may or may not help behind the scenes.
Hey, any of y'all out there got a friend or a sister, man, go help a brother out.
Yeah, dude. We got to get poor Phil. Some of these comments are wild. Wild. Let me share. Let me share one. Let me share one because I saw a bunch of them.
You were looking for them.
Yeah. I was. It's not like they happened to cross my feed. I was like, man, let me go get some.
They happen to cross mine when I'm shown.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see. Let me see. I just want to make sure I get the best one. Okay, here's one of my personal favorites. It's a picture of a cosplayer dressing as Sonya Blade. She has the top part accurate, but the bottom part is just a pair of panties. And his response is, "This pic could cause a fatality."
Oh.
Maybe we'll do a thirst of the week.
There we go.
You have enough for 1 week for a while.
All right. And with that,
Flappy labius.
Tasty taint.
tight dick player.